ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. That's right. We're back as we are each and every Tuesday night as we talk the latest in sports and entertainment. I'm joined as I am each and every week by our co-host Calvin Thomas, Justin B.A. the Barber Harris. What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing tonight?
It's going real smooth, like
like
the
like a vibe,
countdown.
like a vibe. You know what I mean? Look, I thought I knew I missed something, but I didn't know what it was. We had some last minute NFL transactions. Wasn't able to fit all of them into the slideshow. It's a lot going on, man. The world of sports is on fire right now, and NFL free agency is definitely the top of everything. But I hope you gentlemen had a great weekend. A lot of good sports to enjoy. NBA was cranking on all cylinders, a lot of storylines, and we're going to talk about all that tonight. We appreciate you all tuning in tonight. Drop a comment in the comment section, like, share, subscribe, hit us up on YouTube. We're trying to grow our YouTube presence, but we know a lot of you all check us out on Facebook, and we greatly appreciate that. But without further ado, let's get into the topics for tonight because we got a lot to talk about. And one of the main things that we definitely need to talk about has to be what's going on in the NFL with these free agent moves that are coming up, that have been coming out like rapid wildfire ever since over the weekend. Some of the moves might seem small on the surface, but when you see combined with other moves that have been happening, it's definitely putting a couple pieces together where some teams are going to be making some serious noise here coming up. And some of them right here on your screen for you. I gotta say that Josh Allen deal, huge, humongous deal. They signed him early rather than late. 6 years, 330 million, 250 fully guaranteed. That's crazy, big time money for a quarterback. He got more guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson. And now one might say he reigning MVP. He's put the product on the field that justifies it. Here we go. So he gets that deal. You know what I mean? You got Myles Garrett, 4 years, 40 million per year, 123 guaranteed to stay in Cleveland. And we're going to talk about that in depth. Saquon, they extended him after the great year he had. They gave him a 2-year extension. Max Crosby got paid to stay out there in Las Vegas. Big deal for him. Khalil Mack going back to the Chargers on a 1-year, $18 million fully guaranteed deal. Fully guaranteed money is what a lot of players want for a guy his age. That's a good contract to get. But it's really no security. Only 1 year. It's almost like playing on a franchise tag. You got Chris Godwin signed that 3-year deal, 66 million, 44 guaranteed, and then 3 million, which to me is a steal. And we could talk about that in depth. And then the biggest shocker for me was J.C. Horn down there in Carolina. 4 years, $100 million extension, 70 guaranteed, the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. He set the market. It's going to be a lot of guys looking to try to cap that over. So of these moves, and these are all teams retaining talent. This is not you going somewhere. These are all the teams that decided, hey, we value what we got. We're going to pay the money to hold on to these guys. Some of it before their contract was even due. And a lot of these extensions will actually help them save money because you can spread it out and don't kick into the big money till later. And you can pay a lot of that fully guaranteed money up and don't count against your cap. Calvin, I'll go to you first. What was the biggest move over the first few days of teams retaining their talent? Who made the biggest decision by saying, no, we're not going to let you get out of our building. We're going to hold on to you?
I think it goes to Buffalo. Re-signing your quarterback even before he's up in the middle of his current contract, just adding to the cost of a quarterback. That price goes up. I think the price goes up for Lamar. The price goes up for all these young quarterbacks coming up as well. So you gotta. I was a fan of re-signing Lamar, of signing adding an extension on to his years to give them more cap flexibility right now this year and spread some of that money out. Buffalo beat him to the punch, and now Lamar's price just goes up. You know, you talk about Josh Allen, one-time MVP. We see what Lamar is to the Baltimore Ravens. His prices goes up, along with Saquon and along with Derrick Henry, including Saquon as well. But to re-sign your quarterback, to spread that amount of money out, to have him tied to your franchise for another 7 years, 8 years altogether, and basically through the remainder of his prime, and basically to set the bar and what it costs to re-sign your quarterback, it's going to cost $250 million guaranteed. Figure out how to spread that around. It's going to cost you at least $330 million overall. Figure out how to spread that around. So that's the price of a quarterback going for these days. And I think it starts with Josh Allen's contract, like it started with Deshaun's guaranteed money. Like his guaranteed money is the equivalent of Lamar's current contract in full. Think about it like that.
Yeah,
so I think that it starts there. I think you need a quarterback to win this league, and the price just keeps going up. You got to sign them before somebody else does, because all the price does continue to go up. Ravens missed their chance, in my opinion.
Justin, what was the big move for you from the first couple of days of free agency of teams retaining talent? I know that Tampa Bay one looked good.
Now I want to bounce that real quick. So, how do y'all feel about that on the Lamar side? Like, this is a situation where, as though, how do y'all feel as a Ravens fan per se, when the fact that maybe he should have been one of the first ones to start that domino?
I ain't mad.
Let me go. I was going to say, look, I've said on this program, you create cap flexibility by re-signing Lamar. I would have done it. I would have done it fast. I would have done it this year. The price just goes up now, so now you know what you have to, what the bar is. And CJ gets a contract soon. They may add years to Mahomes' contract. Dak just got his contract. The numbers is going to keep going up.
I mean, but what's the rush? I mean, I don't. If he was like 2 years left on his deal, son, the man just signed his deal last year. It's not like he signed 3 years ago.
3 years ago,
he didn't sign it 3 years ago.
Lamar's going to the third year of his contract,
so that's 2 years. Like, that's not like he what he signed, a 4-year deal,
5 years.
5-year deal. So he 2 years into a 5-year deal. I think they can get a deal done after this season and be happy with that. They got 2 years remaining left on his contract. Again, the big money don't kick in till next year, I think it is. I don't even think
his cap number is like $50 million this year. $48 million.
That's reasonable for a quarterback. I mean, to me, with the cap going up, the Ravens weren't going to be big spenders anyway. Josh, I think they made a decision because they decided they weren't going to pay a lot of guys. So they got the cap flexibility to say they was going to pay Josh because he is the team. The Ravens actually have some other people they had to take care of. And I think it would behoove them to get it done. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to rush it and try to set the market. Now the market's set. Now we know what benchmark we got to clear. I think that's smart.
My point is you could have gotten him for cheaper if not for this deal. So do you agree? Wait. Do you agree that Lamar's going to make more than Josh Allen? Yes or no?
I mean, of course he is.
Okay.
Of course he is.
You can structure the contract in a way in which you add cap flexibility for this year, next year, the following year by just adding years onto his current deal. That's all I'm concerned with. You're able to acquire talent, pay that talent, and you have also retained your quarterback throughout his prime, throughout his 32, 33 years old. So
let me ask you a question. What about Lamar Jackson has shown you that he's willing to do anything early? He will play it down to the wire until he get the number that he want. Maybe he's a businessman, smart, saying, "No, I'll see what else."
You think if he was offered this money, he would turn it down?
6 years, 330, 250 guaranteed.
On top of what he's already getting.
Again, I don't know the specifics of how Lamar negotiates because I know him and his mother negotiates contract. Josh Allen got an agent. I'm sure it's a whole different way of negotiating when you know that, hey, I got more to prove. If Lamar go out there and win the Super Bowl, guess what the price going to do? Go up. So why would I jump early? If anything, that's a favor to the team to go and sign early. Patrick Mahomes signing that 10-year, $500 million contract was a favor to the team. He didn't need to do that.
That's Patrick Mahomes' contract is the only one that's different, but it's a favor to the team, but it also helps you get your team get better, which helps you win, which helps you get more money.
I get that, but you think that's Lamar's mindset? That's the question. We don't know.
Does Lamar want his team to get better? Yes. So I think if this deal was presented
at the risk of his money,
Josh Allen has the most guaranteed money out of anyone in NFL history.
But again, I think setting the bar is good. And now there's only a few players, and we've seen that some quarterbacks have not been getting paid. It hasn't kept going up like it was a couple years ago. Some guys going to go a little lower. I think Lamar's one of those guys that if Josh is getting that, Lamar going to go over that. I truly believe that.
I agree, but I don't think you can win with a quarterback having 60, 70 million of your cap. I don't
just
think you
said he
can
was
win that
50.
way. I'm talking about this year. This year he's 50. This upcoming season he's 50.
So you
Next
don't think
year,
that they'll
it's
try
more.
to get a deal done if they're in the same situation next offseason? Then they
But
get
you
the
said
deal done.
you just said why would he sign in advance? You saying he's gonna play
I
it out to
said,
the end.
if it's only 2 years into your deal, why jump the gun? I would start negotiating now, of course, and then next year pull the trigger. And you got a benchmark declared now. You have it. It's set.
If jumping the gun is $250 million, then you could jump the gun. I'm giving you
It takes
guaranteed
two
money,
to tango,
the
man. It
equivalent
takes
of your
two to tango.
contract. If
You're
that's presented
assuming
to
that
you,
that's what he wants. He might be betting on himself like Joe Flacco, being like, "I'll play it out. Like I'm going to get."
I don't.
Kirk Cousins did the same thing, and Kirk Cousins got
Kirk-
fully guaranteed money.
and
Again,
Kirk Cousins ain't when Kirk Cousins won a playoff game.
that has nothing to do with the negotiating contracts. We're talking about contracts here.
I'm talking about
if
talent around him as well.
Lamar has not shown himself to be the type of guy that's just going to take whatever the friendly team deal. The last time we was in negotiating, the man almost said, "I'll go to Atlanta." You remember that? It was
He went
almost out of here. It was all a
know
negotiation ploy.
We know about that collusion back then.
I think you're presuming to be Lamar's just friendly guy that's just going to.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you make him an offer in which he can't say no, and I think this time last week that was an offer in which it was hard to say no. Now the price has gone up.
I think the price was always going up, and I don't think the Ravens was ever going to move to sign him 2 years to the deal. I just didn't see that.
He was going to meet. EDC they say he was going to meet. I guess my point is if this is your franchise quarterback, you want him to be here throughout his entire career. Why not add 6 more years and spread this cap number out and give the team more cap flexibility to add better players and also give you a great payday, an enormous payday, a payday like no one else has received.
And I'm saying, why can't they do the same thing next year?
If they can do the same thing next year, but if there are free agents this year that you want to acquire,
who did they really say that they wanted to get? Who are they targeting? If you look at the Ravens roster, they don't need much. They need to win. That's what they need to do. And to me, it might be some question on does his rate go down if he don't perform next year. I'm just calling like I see it. The
man should be an MV3, but the price ain't going down.
I want a Super Bowl, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Let's worry about that part. All right. Myles Garrett talked all this stuff about how he was ready for, to get out of there. He want to win.
Money talks.
And then what he end up doing? Going right back to Cleveland. Justin, your thoughts on Myles?
They gave him more than what he asked for. That's the most important thing. I think he was asking for they gave him like $1 million more. I think he was only asking for 159, and they gave him 160. But they gave him like 88, something like that, guaranteed. You can't, like Calvin just said, sometimes you get an offer you can't refuse. So why would I try to see about getting traded and seeing what type of other teams how much they can pay me when my team that I'm comfortable with, my family say everything is around Cleveland. I might as well. So if he wants to win, he said, well, me signing back is me helping the team win. So I like it. It was a no-brainer. I think everybody kind of saw this coming. It was fun to kind of say, well, if I move this piece and if this team can do this, that was just fun. But I think most of us knew that he wasn't going anywhere once Cleveland decided to say we ain't got the money, nobody else to get the money to.
Calvin, your thoughts on anybody else that the teams retained?
I'll just give this short clip out to all the Ravens fans who are upset that the Ravens haven't done more in free agency. The Ravens signed the best offensive tackle available. That was re-signing Ronnie Stanley. They protected Lamar's blind side. They did not have another offseason when they were going to move all these pieces on their offensive line. So there is stability on the offensive line. Yes, they lost McCurry. Yes, they're hoping for Voorhees to step in like they hoped for last year. But you're going to have 4/5 of your starting line back again instead of 2/5 and 3 young guys. So calm the nerves down a little bit. This is a team with a lot of expensive pieces that drafts well, that has to re-sign their own players, including Kyle Hamilton coming up in a little while. Let's pump your brakes a little bit. Let EDC work. We saw what he did tonight. That's my message to Ravens fans. I'll also add the Saquon signing completely messed up the running back market because I think Derrick Henry was in for an extension as well. But I don't know if you can give him that amount of money that Saquon got when you can say he basically had almost a similar year that Saquon had. It wasn't impact-wise because, of course, Philadelphia won Super Bowl, but Derrick Henry numbers-wise putting up similar numbers. I think that completely messed up the market for Derrick Henry. I looked at him and someone possibly get an extension this year as well, but not at 2 years, $20 million. No, I didn't expect that.
Why
Derrick
not?
Henry?
Why not? Give him some guarantee money, like you said about Lamar. Spread it out. Give some flexibility to the team. Why is it different for the quarterback and not the running back?
Lamar's got a longer future ahead than Derrick Henry.
I can't tell. I can't tell.
I'm not comfortable with that. And then J.C. Horn. This was someone that was supposed to be traded. And now he's on a $100 million contract.
Big money, man.
I don't know if the trade was on his part or Carolina's part, but and I heard they were trying to get DK as well, but that's just staying. I mean, everyone else, the Godwin signing wasn't surprising. They take care of their own. He's got a ring. I think he's comfortable down there. Him and Mike Evans are 1-2 punch. I was kind of surprised Khalil Mack went back, but when they cut Bosa, they had to retain one of them, so it makes sense. Yeah. Max Crosby, I didn't have a doubt that he was leaving. He seems like that kind of guy's a Raider for life, and he seems to have a good relationship with Pete Carroll as well, which was surprising. So I think out of all these, the Myles Garrett one surprised me. Out of everything he was doing in the offseason so far, to want to get traded, want to win, they just throw so much money at you that it don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you could say the same thing about Max Crosby too. He was talking about a whole bunch of I'm getting out of. He was saying that during the season.
I thought that was everyone else talking to him. I didn't think he was the one talking about it. I thought that
he wasn't turning it down.
Everyone else.
I thought he had an interview about getting up out of there.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm quite sure I heard him talk. But with that being stated, the Buccaneers with Chris Godwin, he actually took $20 million less because the Patriots offering him that much more. But it just goes to show. I think Maurice Jones-Drew said this not too long ago. You can be okay with money because losing affects you way more than actually getting that type of contract. So I think that's what definitely what he was thinking about. It's very hard to uproot everybody. Your whole life is in Florida, is in Tampa, Florida. So the fact that he stayed is a great thing. Tampa does do a good job of re-signing their own. Levante David also signed for like $14 million or something like that for 1 year.
They offered him $80 million, or 20 more guaranteed.
It was 20 more guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe through I don't know if it was guaranteed, but I knew that he turned down $20 million to stay with Tampa Bay. So. It just goes to show sometimes you just want to be happy and be comfortable, and sometimes we overlook that.
I agree with that. And again, I thought that some of the biggest signings all weekend was basically people being like, "Nah, I'm good." You know what I mean? Like, and teams taking care of who they got. You had Minnesota decided, hey, we got a running back, Aaron Jones. Look, he's not the most powerful back in the world, but he was productive. Let's keep him there, can catch balls out the backfield. You look, whatever you wanted to say about what we saw a couple years ago, he's not the same guy he was those first couple years, Chase Young in Washington, but the Saints liked the production they got out of him last year. They kept him in-house. And to me, like I said to somebody, the linebacker that I wanted, the guy who I was like, hey, if there's anybody out there that I want, is Bobby Wagner, man. He played phenomenal last year, and Washington did the right thing, retaining him, bringing him back into the fold. Big time move by Nick Bolton coming back to Kansas City. He was one of those guys that a lot of people thought might get out the door. They retained him. That was good.
Well, we gotta give it up for the Cowboys. I mean, that was crucial. Them re-signing
Devontae Turpin. Hey, he's fast, man. He's speedy. Hey. He's super speedy. Calvin.
One step at a time.
Hey, y'all, we're gonna talk about who y'all picked up as well. But yeah, that was a great re-sign. Hollywood Brown back in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes keeps his number one.
That's why D-Hop was expendable.
Nah, you're right. Yeah, because they're getting Rashee Rice back, and they're getting
and they got Xavier Worthy. You notice that and I'll say this, that his legal issues resolved themselves because it wasn't what everyone thought it was.
Shout out to Xavier Worthy.
You don't hear about that situation no more. And then they got rid of D-Hop.
Yep. So again, it was some good teams making some retaining moves. I thought it was interesting. Byron Murphy was talking all that, but yeah, he stayed where he needed to go. That was good for him. He got paid. But then you had some transactions over this last couple of days. Stop along with head scratches, in my opinion. That when I thought about it at first, I said, okay, Pete Carroll must have really, really, really liked Geno when he was in Seattle. It's like to make that move, Pete said, no, I want Geno with me. And for Seattle to go and sign, look, for all we know that last year was not an anomaly. Sam Darnold is going to be the second coming of Kurt Warner. You know what I mean? On his coming his second trip, third trip, even better. You know what I mean? Remember, Kurt went to Arizona. He went to the Giants first, then he went to Arizona. He was even better. So that could be the story here. Who knows? But
it's not though. But go ahead.
To let DK get out the building,
that's the
you
point.
know what I mean? Why would you let DK get out the building if you bringing in Sam Darnold? Wouldn't you want Jackson Smith-Njigba and DK with Sam Darnold at the helm? I really am confused by that move, Calvin. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree. Only thing I can think of, and I haven't read any reports or heard anything, he knew Geno was gone and he wanted to get out for that reason. There was a rumor that he could have went to, I think, Carolina as well. They didn't offer as much money. And Pittsburgh offered the second round draft picks, so Seattle went with that pick. But if you're Seattle, how do you let one of your weapons leave out when you know you're going to have a new quarterback? And not only that, you cut Tyler Lockett as well. So you went from the best trio of receivers to just Jackson Smith-Njigba, who had a phenomenal sophomore season. So I'm not going to take anything away from him, but it's a whole lot different when you're in the number 2 and you got the number 1 lineup against DK, and now the whole defense is focused on you. Now you got to step up. Yeah. So I'm not sure about that move.
Yeah. Justin, any other big transactions? Some trades. We saw some pickups that, new quarterbacks in new situations, wide receivers making some moves. What's your thoughts on some of these transactions we've seen?
Well, I'm going to say it right now. You have to watch out for the upcoming season for the New York Jets running game with the added addition of Justin Fields. I'm not saying that Reese is going to go for 2,000 yards. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is,
now. Get off the damn fence. Put that out there now.
I'm putting it out there.
All-purpose yards.
It's going to be like over 1,700, 17 to 1,800 plus rushing yards for Breece Hall. It's going to be his comeback season yet again. If you have the added threat of Justin Fields, so I like that just for that particular duo.
March 11th, 2025, 9:38 p.m.
Write it down. Write it down.
Oh, winning the division.
I didn't know. I didn't say that. I did not say that. But seriously, the Steelers getting DK. What else do you need besides him and Pickens as wide receivers? I didn't say what else they need. But when you have those two bookend receivers like that, you are pretty much heading into the right direction. I think they're trying to get Aaron Rodgers, but who knows what that means? Who knows what type of person that is? We all know about the offseason, how much he takes it serious. So we're not going to dwell into what's not there. But I think one of the key signings was definitely Laramie Tunsil, helping out JD5.
Huge trade.
I know the NFC didn't want to see that coming, and here we are. So it's definitely tough, especially me being a Buck fan. Speaking of the Tampa Bay Bucks, getting Reddit was actually definitely good for us. We definitely needed he good now. He done had his little Jets issue. Jets causes issues for a lot of people. So the fact that he's with us now from the start, from the offseason and everything like that, he'll be in shape and he'll be ready to go another 10-digit, 10-plus sack season coming up from him. So I'll swing it back over to y'all because there's a lot more to hit, but I think those were pretty impactful.
Okay, I honestly thought that the Davante Adams move was probably one of the best moves after you signed Matthew Stafford last week. Now you bring Davante in. We hearing that Cooper Kupp probably might be released next couple of days. You got Puka Nacua. You got Karen Williams back there in the backfield. They are loaded. You know what I mean? Like what more? And look, that defense was very, very ferocious coming down the stretch last year. They played Philly tight. You added Davante Adams with a Matthew Stafford playing quarterback. Puka Nacua might get one-on-ones now. Man, oh man, oh man. I think to me, that was the move. And to me, I'm like, okay, tight end, what they got? Higbee.
Yeah.
They got it, man. I think the
Yeah.
Rams have to be in the talks for top of the NFC West for sure, but
Especially with the
definitely
moves,
Super Bowl contenders. Your thoughts on them?
especially with the moves or the losses from San Fran. You know, they've lost probably 8 to 10 players. We can go through that list later, but
yeah, we will.
They got to be atop the NFC West. You got and you can, and even still with the Brock Purdy, contract situation going on, but the NFC may just go through Philly and LA. The Chicago Bears adding to the offensive line, getting Thuney.
My goodness. Now, what was Kansas City doing there?
I think you can believe what everyone's saying is that they were going after Ronnie, and the price for Ronnie went up after they traded Thuney, and that was one reason why the Ravens were so aggressive. And I think, and it helped that Ronnie wanted to be here as well, because I'm pretty sure he could have gotten more money on the free.
He could have got more money than that. That wasn't more money for a left tackle.
Yeah, starting left tackle, he's top 5.
Starting left tackles usually must be the highest paid non-quarterbacks in the NFL at one point in time.
Easily top 5 in my opinion, and I think between how they handled his injury situation, how they allowed him to get healthy, and his comfortability in Baltimore all played a role in him re-signing for less money. I mean, I didn't want a 3-year contract, but when you look at the money, this on average what I expected to pay him. The Tunsil move surprised me, because when you go back and look at it, Houston had a problem keeping CJ upright last year, and then you trade your left tackle. So
best lineman. Yeah.
I'm not sure how I'm looking at this move for Washington. Like you upgrade the position, but how good of an upgrade was it if Houston was ready to get rid of him? And we know they have offensive line problems. Now they paid Nico. Are they going to pay Tank? He's coming off another injury. They got to pay CJ. We saw the price of the quarterback went up. So could that play a part in as well? So those are, and when not even going to DK, I was completely surprised by that move. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's something that they normally don't do. And they don't have a quarterback. Who's throwing him the ball? That's the problem that I have. Now, I think if you're Baltimore, you got to fortify your secondary, because you're going to see T. Higgins and Chase and probably Metcalf and Pickens. I'm not sure if Pickens is going to be there yet.
That's why I say, what about Pickens? Because I've been hearing
sure
that
if he's going to be
not
there
even 100%, because they can't pay both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
he's a free agent this year.
Signed a $100 million contract. He can go there for free. I think they locked him up for
they
5
years.
They
don't have too much others to pay.
They got
Pittsburgh got DBs. They ain't got no running backs.
They got to pay
offensively though.
They ain't got no running backs. So they got to go get something.
They probably want to get bottom of the barrel running backs.
No, I think they're linked to. I don't think he falls that far. I think they're linked to Genty now. I don't know if he falls that far, because they're in the 20s. Roughly.
Oh no, he's not falling that far.
Yeah, so
at all.
If they decided to go trade up, but I'm not sure what you get a weapon. This is
Miles Sanders or something like that.
This is unlike a Pittsburgh Steelers move, in my opinion. I'm just not used to them making this type of aggressive move.
It's desperation. You tired of being mediocre. You know what I mean? Another big underrated move. Go ahead.
I'm about to say, what about Russ? What's the latest on Russ?
He just waiting for what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. That's 100% what it is. Aaron Rodgers is going to set that next domino in effect. If Aaron Rodgers don't go there, they might bring him back. It's wild to say that. Najee signed with the Chargers, so he out of there. Again, TJ Warren, I think he's a free agent. Let's see if they're going to bring him back. I don't think he's an every down back or anything
I think they tendered him like a second round pick. So I think he's coming back. I think I saw that today. Yeah.
But another move, the world champions have been letting some guys go too. They brought back Zach Bonner, give him that. Got your linebacker. But you let CJ go, CJ Gardner, you let him get out of the building. That's two Darius Slay, 2 premier DBs. I don't know about that.
The Darius Slay move didn't surprise me, because the 2 corners that they drafted have been Pro Bowlers, and they basically So I was surprised about Darius Slay move.
I mean, greatness was their depth and their ability to match up with anybody. They can cover your nickels, your 4 receivers, everything, especially in that division. I don't know, man. It's going up again. You see what Washington doing, and you want to get worse on defense? I don't know about that. But again, I trust Howie Roseman. The man knows what he's doing. But the biggest move, and I honestly wanted him. I was like, there's no way it's happening. But this is a guy I've been looking at for years, and that's Harold Landry, the linebacker for the Tennessee Titans. Now, the New England went out there and paid him buku dollars. He's making it. That man making big time money. That was a big one. Shadavius Ward left 49ers. Now he's in Indy. That would have been a good pickup.
That would
Ravens really having. That would have been a good
he got more.
pickup.
He got more money than I thought too.
Yeah, they lured him in. And then don't sleep on, far as from the tight end position, how many times Justin Watson was big for Patrick Mahomes. Losing him.
I was about to say that one right there. That's what I didn't even see that until you just posted that. And I was just thinking like, oh, wow. So they have a decline in Travis Kelce. Exactly. And he was really their back.
On the verge of retirement.
He was their main guy, as in Justin Watson, like in the tight end position. So that right there, I think they definitely didn't see that coming, or they might have fumbled that because that was a nice transition from Kelce to him. Like it would have been seamless, to be honest with you. So now you have to bring up somebody. I know they got a third tight end that they get involved at the same time, but
he was a blocking tight end mostly though.
So for CJ to have that and Christian Kirk to try to help bolster him back up to where he was, I know they lost Laramie, but at the same time, that tight end was very, very beneficial for him.
Look at from Houston's perspective, they signed Watson and they acquired Christian Kirk. Now we know
that's good.
Yeah, we know Tank Dell is out for the year. So now you have Christian Kirk and you have Nico as well. So you're getting CJ more weapons. Now you got to protect him as well. That's a big problem they're going to have. But you can see them kind of reloading, and just the Christian Kirk, the up and down years in Jacksonville, hopefully with a steady quarterback
injury history too.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He can't stay on the field consistently, but I think that might be a Jacksonville problem overall. So maybe things might change in Houston. But we've seen injury issues in Houston. Diggs couldn't last the season. We know about Dell. What's Diggs going to do? He's out there. If the Ravens were looking for a veteran receiver, I might have took a fly on Diggs.
I definitely would have chose Diggs over Hopkins.
Over Hopkins,
depending on what type of money he was looking for. Of course, I'm comparing it to Hopkins. And if we don't know what we're talking about, the Ravens went out inside DeAndre Hopkins. I don't have a slide on it because it happened late in the night. I already had this done. But some other big cuts that we saw, I was kind of like.
You're actually doing a great job getting all these on this. So shout out to you for setting this up so far. Go ahead.
It was a lot more, man. I had to be selective. I was like, we'd be here all night. The 49ers, man. We got to talk about the 49ers, man. They seem like the towel has been waved. They just said we need to move on. Debo was traded. We talked about that last week. But then, Kyle Juszczyk is out of there. Some of the stalwarts on defense have now gone to other teams. Denver picked up a couple of the big-time players. Leonard Floyd is a free agent. I heard he's close to signing, I think, with Minnesota. He might be on the verge of
I think he did.
Did he already sign? Okay.
I thought he did.
Again, this stuff is fluid, man. It's moving. We know Joey Bosa got released. We talked about Khalil Mack signed that 1-year deal. Justin, what else jumped out of you? Some of these schools, Von Miller might be coming back. They cut him. Darius Smith is free from Detroit.
The Falcons. He signed the Falcons.
He signed the Falcons. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, because the Falcons got who was the free agent linebacker? I was pass rusher from New England who went down there.
Judon, a free agent.
Judon. Oh, he is a free
agent. Yeah, free agent. Yeah.
So Judon and Zadarius Smith is free. Hey, EDC, get on the phone, baby.
Make the call.
Get on the phone, baby. Let's go. You played the long game and you won. Go get him. Justin, what else jumped out at you?
It brings like an NBA feel to this free agent market, right? Like teams just they're making a stand saying like, look, if you're not working out for us, we just definitely going to let you go. And you got to commend them. I think everyone is trying to copy the Philadelphia way of just being very more manageable with your cap and trying to
breaking news. Joey Bosa signed to the Bills. 1 year is $12 million.
1 year deal? It's not a
that's good.
Oh, he replacing Von Miller.
Replacing Von Miller, yeah.
No, okay. that works for him.
He a Trump supporter too, so those guys, Joshua welcome with open arms. But anyway, good move.
So
Stop.
I'm looking at Kyle from the 49ers. I think a nice rushing team will love to have him on the team. So if you are heavy into rushing, Seattle, who else? Chargers, teams like that. That's the type of guy
Chargers
you want
perfect
to pick
fit.
up.
Chargers perfect fit.
I agree. Interesting. Calvin, anything else jump out to you before we move on?
Look, we kind of touched on it. The Za'Darius and Judon being free agents. You got your pick of the choice. You go get one of them. We already saw Joey Bosa going to Buffalo. I was kind of I knew he was going to get more money than I expected him to get. And also the San Fran just losing so many free agents. There was talk about them possibly trading Brock to Tennessee. I don't know how that fits because Tennessee's just a young team, but if you get your quarterback, you can kind of set yourself up for the future. But
they lost Greenlaw too.
Yeah, they lost Greenlaw.
Yeah,
Tennessee got a top pick, don't they? What
they had deep top pick.
Yeah. So where would you go at number one if you go get Brock Purdy?
If you're San Fran, if you're San Fran, why not go get Travis? I mean, I think you start over. Maybe
you're talking about trading them for the number one overall pick for Brock Purdy?
Yes.
Hell,
yes.
Nobody doing that.
Yes.
That's a Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen.
If you get your future quarterback, maybe it's a pick swap. Maybe you give them your one for their one, and you get the pick.
That's just a terrible take, yo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what.
If you swap picks, I'm not saying I hate Brock Purdy. I don't think he's as talented, but if you get if you believe in him and you think he could be a number one,
he's not. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the Tennessee.
Yeah, Demarcus Robinson signed with the 49ers. He got former Los Angeles. Again, when you bring in Devontae Adams, I mean, look, he was productive out there. Don't get me wrong. Cowboys, we haven't had much Cowboys talk here. I know they went out and got a running back, and what was his name? It was Jamal Williams. They picked him up. Calvin, what else have the Cowboys done over this early days of free agency besides watch Micah Parsons? And you want to talk about the Ravens should have extended Lamar? Don't you think the Cowboys should have extended, one of the best pass rushers in the league before the price went through the roof? But too late.
They should do that last year. But, besides watching Michael Parsons' podcast, they haven't done much, But it's cool.
All right. That was a good segment.
We can move on. Thanks a lot. Thanks for
it wasn't going to be a long segment.
Appreciate you. You're the best. All right. Let's move on because NFL free agency is going to continue. Again, we're only 2 days in, so there's a lot been happening, and we'll keep you up to breast on whatever's going down next week. We'll probably have a full picture of what's happening heading into the draft because, a lot of stuff can change before April, and we'll get back to you on that. Let's move on to the NBA because we got a lot to talk about. Last week, a Western Conference Player of the Week. Let's start with the Eastern Conference. Was Trae Young, averaged 24 points a game. Team was 3-1. That clearly means there wasn't much going on in the East last week because look at this Western Conference. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Thunder were 4-0 last week. We know that because they've been on a win streak up until last night. He averaged 44 points for the week. 44 points for the week. Calvin, is Shai far and away the MVP of the league?
He's the MVP. I think Jokic is kind of closing the gap with that 30 and 20 performance he had. Yeah. But I'm still giving it to Shai. I am going to be a component for victories as a team. There's no reason that Oklahoma is 8-9 games better than Denver, and we're saying that Jokic should still be in the playoff in the MVP conversation. He's in the conversation number 2, comfortably at number 2 at this point, but it's far and away Shai. He's been the best player in the league this season. He's playing on the best team this season, and head to head, they've beaten Denver more times. They're 2-1 against Denver, I believe. So I'm going with Shai until Jokic and these Nuggets either close this gap. Until Jokic does something, I've seen. We'll put up those numbers. I ain't worried about them numbers. Shai is my MVP. MVP.
Justin, your thoughts?
It's hard to go in a different direction, to be 100% honest. Shai has just been balling. And yes, Jokic did have that monster game, and then the very next game, the Thunder came out and beat him. Now Denver did repay the favor and beat them,
Mhm.
but that's just basketball at this point. But to Calvin's point, unlike let's say last year with Boston, right? We wanted big games out of Tatum, right? We was like, yo, I want to put you in the top 3. I want to put you in the top 5, but you're not doing enough. Your team is so good, you're just kind of cruising, right? Like you're not giving me enough to warrant you MVP. Shea, on the other hand, is having a phenomenal year. His team is playing great. They're battling through injuries and still winning at this type of clip. And then he's having 50-point performances and things of that nature. That's what you want in this team. That's the MVP, and that's just the difference between the two. So I'm going to reward the team that's playing great, and he's the best player having MVP performances along the way. Yes, I understand what Jokic is doing, and Jokic is playing great, but he started off so slow. Not necessarily him, but the team started off so slow. That's 11 game gap between 1 and 2. That's significant enough for me to say, hey man, it's shades to lose. And it's not enough games left, honestly, for them to make that up, unless OKC collapses. But I definitely don't see that happening.
I agree. I think Shea is clearly the MVP. I just think that as far as what do we describe? Are we more excited about how a team starts, how a team finishes? If Denver goes on a run, I can make a case they can win the NBA title this year. I can make a case that they can compete with. Nobody wants to see that big guy in the playoffs. I don't know the team that can match up with him. I don't see it.
I don't think they beat any of the top teams out of the conference. I don't think they beat Oklahoma City. I don't think they beat Cleveland. I don't think they beat Boston. I don't think they beat the Lakers if LeBron healthy. I don't think they beat any. I think if you want to say they're a title contending team, I think they are the worst of the bunch, and that bunch is 5 or 6.
Okay. All right. Anything else jumping out from the standings? Cleveland had they on this win streak. They clinched the playoff spot. They in there firmly, had a phenomenal performance the other night. I mean, God, jeez, I don't know how many more adjectives can you come up with to describe what Donovan Mitchell was doing? He's not in the MVP conversation because the team itself is overall
he's top 5. He's top 5.
I think that, of course, but when you say conversation, Shea's number 1 far and away, according to you. Number 2 is all the way down here.
He can be 3 or 4. Him and Tatum are right behind Jokic.
Tatum had a hell of a performance last week. Again, albeit against a Lakers team that was just completely outmatched from the opening bell. But let's take this beat by beat. Again, I just think
close loss.
Cleveland, Cleveland just represents so much firepower. And before the year, we talked about this. We said it's going to come down to a few teams in the East. You got Boston, defending champions. The New York Knicks were highly rated up there. The Indiana Pacers, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think those 4 teams were pretty much the perennial favorites in the Eastern Conference. And a lot of people had some outside hopes and wishes when it came to Philadelphia. People like that. Milwaukee. Myself, I had Milwaukee going pretty far. I'm still not counting them completely out, but I've seen them play against the big-time teams enough times and not show championship medal or top-tier defense. I never liked the Kyle Kuzma pickup, and I don't think he's blending well with the team when you watch the flow of the basketball when they're on the court together. So I'm not confident in that Milwaukee pick, and I just think it's going to come down to Cleveland and Boston. Justin, tell me why the Knicks can upset that.
It's going to come down to matchups, to be 100% honest with you. And yes, 1 through 4 is the toughest second round I've seen in quite some time, especially coming out the East. Let's just say if all these teams do march on to the second round, and now it's just based off of where they at. You mean to tell me that Cleveland can beat Milwaukee, although what you just said? Maybe not. Maybe Giannis turns it up 2 more notches, which he definitely can do. Maybe Dame matches what Donovan gives you, and now we playing ball after that. if Boston plays one of the two, like who knows? It's very interesting, to say the least. But when it comes to the New York side of things, it's tough.
You don't
It's
believe
tough.
yourself.
It's tough.
Say, go on, speaking with your
We
chest, Chad.
we just haven't shown enough in the regular season to say that we're going to go to the conference finals. So I'm a fan, and I wish I could just hang my hat on and saying, hey man, I see one of these teams in the conference final. No matter who they are, who it is. Well, I don't have that. I don't have that pleasure. I don't have that privilege to say that. So it'd be interesting. Hopefully we can get our ish together by that time. That's what I'm hoping and praying. To be honest with you.
Calvin, tell me how the Knicks going to upset that party.
I don't think they beat either Cleveland or Boston. I think they're a year away. Especially if you tell me when Brunson's going to come back and will he be healthy for the playoffs.
They said that he'd probably back a couple games before the playoffs.
Okay, so a couple games to get his legs underneath of him. But I just don't like the matchups. Bridges and Anunoby have been so up and down offensively. I think you potentially have the best big man on the court with Cat in either matchup, especially with Porzingis being out for the last couple of weeks as well. But the wing play on both teams is I think phenomenal. And I just don't think – I think New York is a year away. Maybe the Mitchell Robinson piece comes into play, but
that's the problem. I have an issue with that. Not saying that you're saying something wrong. It's just we don't have a team that's a year away. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going against what you're saying. But for outside of this, you're saying that we're a year away. What Dan, we constructed this team to be here and now. That's the thing. Like if we're a year away, that means everybody else is a year older, playing 45 minutes a game. That's not where we want to be.
Can we say you just don't have the right coach?
Possibly.
Are you ready to have that conversation?
Possibly.
Van Gundy is sitting on the bench somewhere.
I will say this. I know that other coaches would do a lot better, a much better job of filling out the roster and actually letting those guys get significant playing minutes, so you don't have to rely on your starters. But it's all centered around Cat and how we work in Mitchell Robinson. If you mean to tell me that I'm going against Cleveland and I have my 2 7-footers to go against their 2 7-footers, okay, we're going to see how we're going to rock out, and we're going to see who's going to win, because none of them really slow down Jalen Brunson on top of it. So it's we got a shot, and that's just all you want. You want to have a shot, but it's just they haven't shown anything yet, so we have to wait till they show it.
All right. Next up, these Golden State Warriors, man. I mean, I don't think this is not a test no more. This is the real deal. They've been on a hell of a streak. Jimmy Butler had a triple-double the other night. Steph is playing regenerated. We talk so much about LeBron and how he's been playing. Steph has been playing nuts, man. Like he's like man, and he's like, how much longer can he play? The man still seems like he was in his prime. Justin, tell me what's up with the Warriors. I mean, I'll go with you, Calvin. Justin, you just went on the long rant. Calvin, what's your thoughts on these Warriors here?
The Jimmy Butler effect. When Jimmy is engaged and motivated, he makes those around him better. They just had a game a couple nights ago. They had 6 people score 20 points or more. Mm-hmm. Just think about that. You have 6 players, so you had not including Draymond, who's the starter. So you had 4 of your starters and 2 of your bench players score 20 points a game. That's 120 just from those 6 players. They are motivated. With Jimmy out there as another smart ball handler, smart playmaker, makes it easy for Steph to get shots. Steph is now able to not have to play as much defense. It's not having to be that primary ball handler. It's not having to put the offense on his back, because Jimmy can run the offense and can get buckets for himself as well. It's a Jimmy Butler effect. When he's motivated, he has that contract. He's going to be out of Miami, and he's contributing to a ball club that actually needs him. And we can see that piece that they're missing. We can see what Andrew Wiggins gave them that championship year, and he's just doing that on steroids, basically. And he's doing it every night, and it's that effect. And when you have a superstar like Steph Curry, who still can play at a high level night in and night out, and you just add to this team of young stars and a great coach, Steve Kerr, this is what you get. You get a team that's hot and going to the playoffs where they can beat anybody, maybe anybody in the Western Conference.
So you have Kaminga coming back as well. That is that was paramount because he's been out since January 4th. So
Yeah.
they've been on this run without one of their main guys on top of it. Um, so if you have a lineup of Draymond, Jimmy, Kaminga, Steph, and let's just say GP the second, if you got all them out there, then that's a tough five. Besides Jokic, which is a difference maker out the center position, they definitely can give any other team a run for their money. Maybe OKC because, like I said, it's a size thing, right? But besides those two, I mean, I can see them beating Houston. I can see them going toe to toe with LA. Actually, they might be on a crash course for the first round if LA stays, 2-3. If they get to 3 and then Golden State can get to 6, that's 3-6 right there. So I it'll be one hell of a first round. I'll say that. So Golden State definitely got a shot. They just got they got a size issue. They're undersized to go against some of these other guys out there for the OKCs and the Jokic, which is the top, arguably the top two teams. So
you look, I agree with what you're saying, but even in a matchup with Golden State, you can say the Warriors have two of the best three players on the court. And I mean, Jokic is a great player, and you can say the gap between Jokic and Steph is huge if you want to, but you still have two of the best three players on the court that can facilitate the offense, and everything goes through Jokic. Especially there's no Jamal Murray, especially to get Russ open shots, especially with no Aaron Gordon.
So my only pushback to that is
Jamal Murray playing.
I said Aaron Gordon.
I think Aaron's playing too, ain't he?
They got hurt the couple nights ago.
Okay. But that honestly, that doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that Jokic is a difference maker. That's the problem.
Force multiplier.
He's that. I got a superstar QB with regular wide receivers, but we still gonna make something shake. That's the type of thing that Jokic brings to the table. So even if you double him, even if you try to take him out, you can't take him out the game because he's going to find the open person. He's going to find the cutter. He's too impactful because it's the assists to go along with the points. If you slack off me, I'm going to drop 40 tonight. I don't want to, but I will. So that's the thing. He's a 7-foot difference maker. So it's very hard to do what you just said. Like you said that like it was like like they could just get him out the game. No one has been able to do that for the last 4 years.
It's gonna be tough. But shout out to Golden State, man, playing hard. Some veterans coming together. Before the year, we had some guys dropping Steph Curry out the top 10.
He was on his way. Then he got a goddamn
resurgence. He wasn't on his way. You had him outside the top 10.
No, I'm saying he had a damn resurgence with Jimmy Butler. He was on his way out, and just like the other guy
playing well earlier this year.
It was shaky. It was coming down. And the other guy too, the goddamn number 77 re-energized the other guy because he was on his way out too.
Well, they weren't that energized on Saturday night. I mean, look, hell of a comeback. They tried to make something shake. But Boston, man, the three-pointer, if y'all want to say that you don't like the style of basketball, if you watch that game on Saturday night, that could have been a frustrating game to watch because it seemed like I'm watching the Lakers just jack up threes, and I'm like, bro, you can't go inside and get layups, right? Just because Boston's shooting threes. I mean, I watched the first quarter of that game, maybe first half, and it seemed like both of those teams was just shooting every three. Nobody was trying to move the ball inside. That, to me, is not the most entertaining basketball in the world. Some people like that kind of stuff. It woos the girls, you know what I mean? Back in the day, everybody loved when Sacramento and Dallas and those teams would just shoot the Phoenix Suns, just getting up all in threes. But to me, that's just not that entertaining. I wasn't greatly entertained by that game. But you got to tip your hat. Jason Tatum is a stud. The guy comes, and when it's time, he can turn it on, man. Calvin, what's your thoughts on Boston? Are they the team that Cleveland should be worried about? Go ahead, tell us.
Oh, most definitely. They're the defending champs. They've gone through a lot of the season just trying to get back to the playoffs. They have arguably two of the best players at their position. And that's not even including a Drew Holiday and a Derek White are probably top 10 in that position. And I think one thing that they have that Boston doesn't have is experience. They know how to get to a finals. They've been to two. They know how to win a finals. They won last year. And Cleveland doesn't have anyone that can say that they've done that. They may have been the better team this season, partly to Kenny Atkinson and his coaching staff and him coming in and kind of getting Donovan Mitchell to get acclimated with the offense and not do so much one-on-one. But that doesn't really – what that translates to the playoffs when you're playing a team with more experience, a team that could be better than you at key positions as well. So Cleveland's biggest challenge is Boston. Even though they will have home court advantage, I believe, they still have to beat Boston. And I don't know if they can do that in the postseason. Win 4 times in 2 weeks against an opponent that knows you, an opponent that can match up with you, an opponent that's been there, done that, what you're trying to do, and you have to get past them to get a title. So Cleveland is their biggest matchup, and then I'm sorry, Boston is their biggest matchup followed by Oklahoma City, but you can't get to the finals until you go through Boston, and that's what needs to be Cleveland's focus once April starts and the playoffs roll around.
Justin, is Boston still the beast of the East?
No question. They're not asking too much for Holiday this season. Just coast on by, don't get hurt. Derek White has picked up his game, especially offensively. They just find great white shooters. I don't know, maybe it's a Boston Celtic in them, but they just
40.
They find that there's nothing to say. KP is the only thing. If you tell me that KP is healthy enough for a playoff push, then I will slot them arguably back in the championship, depending on how things work out. But the fact that he's not there, it gives more onus to the 2 wings that they have to dominate. And Al Horford, hopefully he can find that fountain of youth yet again. But he's been playing pretty phenomenal this year too. So it is Boston.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing else to say about it. I would love to say with these 2 duos, Brown and Tatum, they're just going to drive to the hole and 2 posted dunks and hella finishes, but they don't play like that. So they don't even play. So something that, let's say Cleveland, right? They have 2 7-footers that can protect the rim. They don't feel like going to the rim. So, okay, you can slack off if you want to. I'm gonna post up and pop up and shoot this 3. So it's still theirs to lose.
Yeah, I agree. We got to talk about LeBron. So LeBron has been playing great. We're well documented here on this show, and we're going to talk about a lot about LeBron over the next 10, 15 minutes. But the injury to the groin, he left the game on Saturday night. But before that flop. Did LeBron get hurt flopping? Be honest. Was him trying to sell whatever that contact was what really tweaked his injury? Calvin, you watched the game. Do you think that he hurt himself?
I do
Clearly
think
you do. Yes,
I do think that played a small part. I do think that maybe this injury is because of so much use over the last couple months, I should say, as well. But it played a part. It played a part in him trying to draw that foul and him kind of turning the way he did.
Flailing.
Yeah, and I do believe that once I saw the replay, I was, however, maybe a couple weeks off our best leading to the playoffs because we know what they can do now.
Got a murderer's row coming up.
Just got to maintain this top 4 seed. I don't mind seeing Oklahoma City in the second round. Y'all heard what Shannon Sharp said. I fully believe it. I fully believe it.
So, do you think LeBron planned this to take a little break?
Oh, yeah, that's part of it too. We've seen this before.
So you get ready for his playoff.
Take a little break. Let Luka get his legs underneath him. Look, I need you to be Luka. I need you to be ready for this playoffs. I need you to run it and see how it is to run this show by yourself, so we can take this 1-2 punch to the next level. So, and then it's a little gentleman's little war game.
Then LeBron doesn't play against Brooklyn and then they lose, and what everybody say, hey, if LeBron was there. They don't want it. Wasn't
but no, you still had Reeves hobble. You still missing Rui. You still missing Jackson Hayes. So you're missing key parts of your rotation as well. It's not just LeBron.
JJ wasn't happy though. He ain't care. He went off.
Yeah.
Justin, your thoughts on LeBron's injury?
Kobe will never. I will spark off by saying that. God rest his soul.
Well, wait.
Poor LeBron.
That ain't. I done seen little montages and everything. Just Kobe taking shots like that and just playing defense, and then it's the flopping compilation that LeBron has. That's not necessarily the best thing. This just added to it. So if he got hurt, then that was just a basketball god saying, chill out on that. But we are in a rare time where, I mean, this might be a segment later, but we are in like the silent generation when it comes to the Lakers. The Lakers are being led by two white guys. That is new right now. With LeBron being out, you got Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic as your main two guys, and hopefully they can maintain that top 4 spot.
Dalton Connect.
And then you got Dalton connected from the outside. So led by JJ Redick. I don't know what Lakers team I'm watching right now, but it'll be interesting to see how far they manage without LeBron James. But even still with this injury, LeBron James needed a rest anyway. So LeBron James takes these injuries. I'm not saying that he's overdoing it. I truly believe he's hurt, but he's going to take advantage of this time being hurt too. And then once he gets back, that's a problem for the rest of the Western Conference. You're going to have a fresh LeBron James heading into the playoffs. Last time he was this fresh, not this fresh, but last time he was fresh, they end up going to the championship and winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so we got to talk about after we had our show on Tuesday night. I believe on Wednesday, the Lakers played out there, and
Thursday.
It was Thursday.
Yeah,
Stephen A. Smith was courtside for the game. LeBron and Luka put on a performance. And in the middle of the game, LeBron walks over to Stephen A. Smith and confronts him and says, "Stop effing with my son." We don't know exactly what was said. We've only heard from Stephen A. Transcribed. You can kind of read LeBron's lips, but again, the camera cuts in as the conversation has already taken place. Stephen A. goes on his show the next day after he says that it went viral. I know, Calvin, you shared it to us, and I saw it that morning. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And Stephen A. said, well, since everybody's talking about it, I have to address it. And we all commented on how we thought that Stephen A. was kind of low-spoken, quiet, and soft-spoken in his response, because if a man stepped to you like that, and you, Stephen A. Smith, talking all that stuff, you would assume he's going to come, firing all cylinders, but he's like, that was a father coming at me. He kind of took a low road on it, the high road, I want to say. But as Calvin, as you said, with more time and probably people roasting him, probably former players coming at him and saying stuff. Now he went on his podcast and went a little further, and he said he didn't say nothing wrong. A lot of people saying that Stephen A. was perfectly within his right to make the comments he made. The question I have is, which comments was LeBron responding to? Because I watch Stephen A. regularly. I don't like watching Stephen A., but I got to because Shannon's on there, and that's pretty much the number one show. I've seen him take shots at Bronny multiple times. Not necessarily just Bronny. He takes shots at LeBron for not protecting his son or for allowing his son to be in the league. So I think it could have been something small that Stephen A. thought it was an offhand comment that LeBron was frustrated by and wanted to, instead of calling him on the phone, he said, no, next time I see him is on site and I'm going to have something to say. I don't know. Y'all opinion. Did you disagree with how LeBron handled it? Did you think that Stephen A. went out of bounds with his commentary, or he was completely in his right? And even if he was completely in his right, do you see why LeBron would be frustrated? I'll start with you, our resident Lakers fan, Calvin.
If the conversation was about what Stephen A. initially said, which is with him being upset about him parenting or how he perceived him to be as a father, I have no problem with what LeBron did. If the conversation was about how Bronny is playing in the NBA, I still have no problem with what LeBron did. Look, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. You can come at me all you want to. You come at my child, all bets are off. It's completely different. That's how my take is. I don't care if you're talking about his professionalism, what he's doing, what it is his job to do. Don't come at him and try to tie my name into the situation to get more of a response, to get more views, to get more clicks for your shows. Don't do that. If you want to talk about how bad he's playing professionally, cool, that's one thing. But don't try to tie my name into it and come to me as a father and say, I'm begging you to do A, B, C, and D because you perceive something to be wrong. That's completely out of line. I don't care how you look at it. do not come at my child in any type of way and try to lump me into it. If you want to talk about he's playing poorly, that is his job. You have the right to do that. You can say he needs to get better. He needs to get in the gym. That's perfectly fine. Don't try to tie me into it and to like this, like I said, to get more clicks. I have no problem how you went at him. It was during the game. That's the only problem I had. I'm proud. I'm glad that you addressed it face to face. I'm glad we got it on video, that we see Stephen A kind of bowing down and not having all this, not having all the energy that he has. It's easy to have energy when you're somewhere else. You ain't had that energy when up front. And that's what I'm going to take away. When you had the chance to address it face to face, all you said was okay and walked away. And then the next day on first take, you were like a little sad puppy telling the story because you didn't want nobody else to see it. I completely agree with it. I ain't got no problem with it.
Justin, your thoughts?
How did Bronny make it to the Lakers?
They drafted him.
Mm-hmm. Who else is on this team?
His father.
Mm-hmm. One would argue that he didn't even belong in the league, period. So if he's in the league and he doesn't belong in the league, then who else is to blame for that? LeBron James. So by default, he is connected to him because the reason why he's underperforming is because of LeBron James. He's here because of you. If he was on a different team, he would be
because of
on
LeBron James. How was he underperforming because of LeBron
because
James?
he shouldn't be in the NBA.
So he should be in G League.
He should be 100% there.
He is in the G League.
He plays in G League as well.
Right. But during this time, they brought it up because one of the main clips that was going around is the fact that when he had a stint playing on the Lakers and he just wasn't ready for the league. He like JJ played him like 10-15 minutes or something crazy like that. And he just didn't look good. And we know the reason why. So don't come across like one that you couldn't call this man and say like, yo, why don't you say? Go ahead. Speak.
Why should I call him when he went public with his comments? So
you had an issue. There's other people that's even harsher, that has more critical critiquing of Bronny, and he don't pull them up.
And how many of them said, "I'm pleading to you as a father to end this"?
Some people would downright say that he's garbage, he's trash, he shouldn't belong in the league.
But you're talking about his game. That's fine.
That's different.
You're talking about his game. That's fine. That's what you have. You can have an
opinion
on his
but you
play.
can say it in a disrespectful way as well. Niggas say he's
and that's
garbage,
fine
he's trash.
Okay, that's fine.
No, at a certain point,
fine.
you don't want to hear that part. That's
But
more egregious than saying as a father. Yeah, as a father, you should have enough say to like, hey, maybe you should probably go ahead. Maybe you don't belong here. You know that.
Come on, man. I think that's a bit far. That's a bit far.
And you got to hold emphasis on him because he's the one that came out and said that he's better than half the players in the league.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
He tweeted that.
Misquoted. No, he said
How do you misquote a tweet?
I'm watching he said I'm watching League Pass and Bronny's better than some of these. He could play better than some of these players I'm watching right now. That's it. Go look up the tweet.
Okay.
People have mistweeted it, and he was watching like Summer League or something like that, or like it wasn't an NBA game.
It was late in the season NBA game.
It was an NBA game.
It was an NBA
Wasn't
game.
it like garbage players out there?
It was late in the season, so like certain teams if
LeVar Ball situation didn't happen.
He never said half the league. People made that up.
If LeVar Ball situation didn't happen, if we don't see when you put your child on a pedestal and he doesn't perform and both of you get crucified, basically that's what happened. So you have some type of precedent of what happens when you oversell your kid.
Which one of LeVar's kids hasn't underperformed? LaMelo's a max player. He's just on a bad team.
When Lonzo
just had injuries. Injuries.
Okay. When you say that he's better than Steph Curry and all these other players, you put him on a pedestal.
That's him.
And Patrick Beverley showed you game one. He is not there.
And nobody said LeVar, I'm coming to you. Like nobody said LeVar, I'm coming to you as a father. All these guys gonna go with your son. I need you to tone it down. I need you to get him back in the gym.
Patrick Beverley was pointing at
the first game of the season. That's my point. That's my point.
But he's a player. He should do that.
he's
He should do that.
It's not a commentator. It's no one outside the game saying,
Exactly.
"Look, I'm coming to you as a father. You need to do this for your son."
I'm
judging your parenting. I'm judging your character, and I'm judging how you're raising.
Let me break this down. Let me break this down, because I really think we can't just say, other people do say this. Stephen A. Smith just signed the richest contract in sports broadcasting history. He's making $100 million a year, like $20 million a year. He signed a 5-year deal for $100 million, but it's still the richest deal. And he's on TV not one day a week like inside the NBA.
He's gonna be on more.
On TV 5 days a week. Then he on countdown shows.
You're gonna be on NFL Monday night.
The most prominent sports figure on ESPN, which is the number one worldwide leader, as they all say. First Take is the number one show that people watch 2 hours a day, every day. He did segments. He has a podcast. He did segments where
we know what he does.
We all know he was tongue in cheek. All know he was tongue in cheek. He was trying to be funny. That's what he was trying to do. I'm pleading with you as a father to put him, throw in the towel, basically. Tell him to quit. Pull him out of there. Like, what are you doing?
So, I mean, at the end of the day,
what are you doing?
Why approach Stephen A. in this matter? What are you set to accomplish?
Because clearly they had a relationship. That's another thing that people that's underreported. Their relationship fell apart before, and Stephen A. has been salty ever since. That's why he always bring up Rich Paul. That's why he always think about it. He always bring up Maverick Carter and how his inner circle don't mess with me like that, and they say don't talk. LeBron don't come on for like he tried to get interviews with him. LeBron won't do it no more because he stopped dealing with him. Why? When Stephen A. reported on some stuff that wasn't true, LeBron said, "I'm not dealing with that dude no more. Keep my name out your mouth. I won't talk about you." That's why all the underlying things matter in this conversation. If you already know I don't bump with you, if you already know, why are you pleading with me as a father? I don't mess with you like that. You already been jealous of me.
So at the end of the day,
you've been friends with the ops. You and Skip have been tight for years. They go all the way back to that. And people say, well, he never went at Skip. When the last time you see Skip sitting courtside at an NBA game?
He's not.
Skip don't come out of hiding. Skip sit behind his screen, sit in his studio, and make sure that he's protected. So Stephen A. want to come out and be big and bad. Don't.
No, see, that's my problem. That's my problem right there. He didn't come outside being big and bad. He went to see a game with the New York Knicks. He just showed up. LeBron is the one that was trying to be big and bad,
and I'm glad he did.
And Stephen A. Smith, you're not going to hit him in his face.
That's not being big. That's keeping that energy when I see you. I'm gonna have this energy when I see you.
Exactly.
I'm gonna keep that same energy.
I'm gonna see you when I see you.
So you show up another person like this, another black man in front of TV like that.
That's right. I don't care what color you are.
What is that? It wasn't on TV. He's not going to hit him in his mouth. He's not going to hit him. So what were you doing trying to pull up on him like that? If I was Stephen A. Smith, I would have mushed right in his face. Get out my face. Yes, I would have. But you're not going to come in my face like that, Paul.
Stephen A. would have never done it. We knew that already. Because you talk that big stuff, and then when a person steps to you, you ain't do nothing about it. I thought it was
he got $100 million reasons why he's not going to do that.
Exactly.
That man approached you,
and I wish more.
And you know what? And you was defending yourself.
And you know what, Steve? That man approached you, and when you had a chance to tell your side of the story, you decided to bitch out and tell your little side of the story. But now when you see how everyone's treating you, now you want to get big and bad and say,
he chose to be professional. He chose to be professional.
So he chose. No. He told me professional on Friday, but on Tuesday now he want to add big and bad and like this is what happened. And this is how I should have handled it.
This is the same dude that told his mother to sit your ass down. This is the same guy that did that.
Now he's like,
so now you're switching up. So first and foremost, I see you being disrespectful to your own mother, and now you're putting your son in a position where he should be able to defend himself, just like you did, just like you defended yourself when it comes to your mother. That's what. That's why somebody smashed his goddamn own mother because he was full of crap then, and he's full of crap now, and somebody's going to take that on a Bronny, and that's his fault. That's his fault.
What that got to do with Bronny? They still ain't in the league
because it's just a bad look.
He's going to talk about it more to get more clicks.
Oh, Stephen A. going to send the goons at Bronny.
Bronny can't fight his own battles.
What that got to do with Bronny? He came.
I don't need you. This is about me too. I don't need you to come up on Stephen A. Smith like that. Well, for what? Why are you doing that? Pause. Like, yo, you don't need to do all that. I got this. Let me handle my
all of this stuff is connected. All of it is connected. The whole Michael Jordan. Why we gotta constantly have a Michael Jordan LeBron debate? Why you every turn you gotta make sure that you tear LeBron down? Why you gotta make sure it's all and every time? Oh, do we have to pacify him all the time? Man, we gotta make sure we say he's a great father, he's a great philanthropist. You've seen the stick. He do it all the time. It's
because he has to, or else he won't get phone calls and stuff. People get tired of that.
Nobody's calling him. Nobody's calling him. Somebody probably called him when they was cool. If I'm cool with you and you bring up the black thing and all you do is tear me down, tear me down, tear me down.
How does 5 days a week by saying you the second best player of all time?
No. We talking long before this. Remember the Delonte West stuff? That was a lot of. Remember the rumors that they had to sedate him before Game 6. That came from Stephen A. Smith. That came from nobody else reported on that. Who else reported on that? Against Boston, said that they had. I got it by on good authority that he had to be sedated before Game 6. That's how far this beef go back. LeBron ain't messed with Stephen A. since he left Cleveland the first time, and then when he was in Miami, he was a choke job. When he was like, he will never live this down. He went on national TV and announced his decision, and he's the one who ruined the league. You ain't hear him say that. He ruined the league because now the owners ain't gonna let the players have no control. He against player empowerment. He always been against player empowerment. He a corporate guy, man. Ain't nothing to like about that coon. That's what he is. That's exactly what he is, man. Call it what it is. I've been watching this guy long enough, and then for him to try to say, LeBron, put your son out of pasture. Basically.
He did say to put that man out like old Yeller.
That's what he said.
He did.
That's what he said on national television, man. You gonna take your son outside and shoot him? Think about that, Justin. You're a father. Come on, man. You're not gonna stand for something like that. Look, and if a man has an opportunity to put his son in a position to what CEOs do it all the time. My son can play basketball.
No one is against nepotism. It's just how you go about it. How you go about it.
How do you go about it? The Lakers drafted him in the second round.
By overselling him. By overselling him. That's not necessarily the best thing you wanted.
He went to college.
We already said.
Golden State was going to draft him and didn't draft him out of respect for LeBron. We've heard those rumors. We've heard Boston was going to draft him. So we've heard other teams going to draft him. So how was this?
The man was drafted in the second round, and he went to college. He had a heart condition. It was a national story.
Go get the first round picks and what are they doing?
He was trash before the heart.
If he was trash before the heart, why was teams going to take a chance on him? Because he's LeBron James' son alone?
Yes.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. No
one's arguing the nepotism of it. No one's arguing it. It's a good thing. That's a good thing that he's there. Okay,
Bronny is averaging 0 points a game.
Did LiAngelo Ball get a trial because of his brothers?
Man, I just hate it.
More likely, yes. It happens. No one's knocking that it happens. It happens all the time. But what I'm saying is,
put him out the pasture. Shoot him in the head. Like, come on, man. You can't be saying no outlandish stuff and expect a man not to come at you.
That could be a bit egregious. I'm not knocking that. I did not hear that soundbite. Okay, so if I would have heard that, it would make me feel a certain kind of way.
That's why I say when people are leaping these conclusions about why he came at him, you don't even know the whole context.
And that soundbite was on First Take. It wasn't on his podcast.
Yeah, it was on First Take. So they was laughing and joking about it. Like, yeah, you can take it as a joke, and we can laugh and joke on our little platform here. We appreciate all our viewers and all that. But at the end of the day, you can't be going on national TV talking about take your son out back and shoot him in his head. Go ahead.
To approach him like that at halftime, just what did you want to accomplish, bro? It just to me it don't look right because what y'all gonna fight? No, you're not gonna fight. So what's the need for it? Look, this is team. I think that's where we different. I think that's honestly where we split on this one. Y'all say that that's okay. In my world. in my world, and we come from the same world, when you approach somebody like that, we are fighting. Like, you're not going to get that close to me without us throwing hands. So if he wasn't going, don't shake your head and you slightly rolled your eyes.
I did.
So what I'm saying is, you don't necessarily approach somebody unless y'all ready to throw down.
So he wasn't going to LeBron looked like he was ready for going down.
He wasn't going to fight.
So Stephen A. came to LeBron's job to watch him do a job and wasn't prepared to have the same energy he had when he was on TV. So that's Stephen A.'s fault. Because if you're gonna bring that energy on TV, bring it to me in public. So expect to be confronted when I see you.
And you've been watching Stephen A. for years.
I'm sure he knew that LeBron did not like the comments.
How many times did Stephen A. say, "I'm in these arenas. If you got something to say, see me."
And he even said there are players in the league that don't like what I said about Bronny. So I'm sure it got back to him that Bron didn't like that from whoever didn't like it. So he knew to have that same energy. He just didn't think it was going to happen on that platform. He thought it was going to happen behind closed doors.
Did you see him sit down? Did he not
stand up? I saw him sit down right away. When I saw him say, "Okay,"
because he turned around and walked away. It was over.
That's fine. Okay, what you want him to punch him right there on the? He said what he needed to say. Ain't no need to tweet it.
He kept the same energy Friday when he was all depressed and quiet and trying to apologize. And now all of a sudden he getting laughed at.
I'm glad. At this day and age, it's so. How many times that we say we just wish LeBron would confront Skip or confront one of these people that just taking these unnecessary shots? I'm glad these pundits are being put in that place. I wish somebody would see Jason Whitlock in public. Jason Whitlock show up at an NFL game or something. Anyway. Somebody should go right up to him and dare him. Like, come on, man. Like, Stephen A. is not.
Let him see Emmanuel Acho run around in LA.
You should have pushed him. Stephen A. You should have pushed him.
Don't talk. Hey, be careful with your comments unless you're prepared to look. Like Calvin made a great point earlier. If you're talking about his game 100% and that's it, fine. Yeah, he's open. He's an NBA player. He should be up for critique. I don't think we should be super harsh on a guy who doesn't even play. But whatever. You want to use your television time to get some clickbait using Bronny's name, that's completely valid. If Bronny was playing in the fourth quarter, these games that mattered, and he was giving you nothing, LeBron should be excoriated for that. If LeBron was just holding on in his career, averaging 8 points a game, long enough for Bronny to get old enough to get into the league so he can say he played on the same team as his son, that'd be a whole nother thing. But that's not what's happened. LeBron's still playing at a high level. Because a lot of people say, oh, LeBron only holding on so he can just check that box to say that him and Bronny played on the same team. That was a lot of what people said in the beginning of the year. And now you don't even hear that no more because Bronny's like, some people forgot Bronny was on the team until Stephen A. bring it up. That's the point. That's the point. Like, you're trying to make it into a mockery. We see what happened. Another point, Charles Barkley went on TNT the other day. And he says, he tired of all ESPN talk about is the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. He called Kendrick Perkins an idiot, a fool, don't know nothing about the game because he said the Lakers was helping to save the NBA. Calvin, did you hear these comments and what was your thoughts? Perk went back at him too.
Yeah, Perk went back at him on Twitter. So I heard Charles' comments. I disagree with this statement. I disagree with Kendrick's statement that the Lakers have saved the NBA this season because we've seen great basketball from Boston, from Cleveland, from New York. We've seen the rejuvenation of the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry. We saw Jokic putting up phenomenal numbers. So as a basketball fan, there are a number of storylines we talk about this season. Does the Lakers' success recently post-trade add to the storylines of this year? Yes. Does it make the season better? Yes. But it did not rejuvenate the league. It only rejuvenates the league for people who can't get past 90s basketball, for people who are living in the past, who think the NBA stopped in 2003 when Jordan retired, who only talk about old subjects and want to can't appreciate the beauty, the artistry of this game. Most of those people that were offended by plumbers and having second jobs and whatever JJ Redick's conversation was, those are the people that don't appreciate the league, that don't understand the true artistry and what was going on today. I have a problem with what Kendrick with what Perkins said, because I think that it is a part of ESPN, but we know ESPN is going to talk about what generates clicks, and that's the Lakers, that's the LeBron versus Jordan, that's Boston, that's Dallas Cowboys. They're going to talk about what generates clicks and try to feed in little
Knicks,
topics.
if the Knicks was good,
correct, and they're going to talk about other little topics sparingly. That's their MO. And Charles is about to get paid by them in some capacity next year. So he really doesn't have the method to talk, because he's going to have to talk about these same topics if he wants to continue with getting paid what he's going to get paid next year by ESPN to talk about NBA basketball on their platform. So both sides can be right. Charles calls everyone an idiot, calls everyone a knucklehead. He gets beat up too. You can't take it too harshly. He wants to be the guy that just says whatever. And that's how he has to take it. Kendrick got in his feelings. It's right on both ways, but we both know they're not going to have that same energy in public when they see each other. We know that's going to happen. It's going to be a public. It's going to be a Twitter beef, and that's it. And Chuck don't even have Twitter. So he's going to comment on TNT.
Oh, he got Instagram.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's going to comment on TNT, and that's how they're going back and forth. But they both can be right. They just have to. You got to express your feelings in a way that's nicer. So when someone sees you, they don't have that same energy, because they're not going to mush you in your face like Justin will want.
Go ahead, Justin. Your thoughts on this whole scenario?
They ain't gonna fight, so who cares? But for the aspect of the show, I mean, he is right. Like when the Lakers are relevant, then the NBA is more relevant. That's a fact. It's nothing we can say about it. There's certain teams, there's certain franchises that move the pulse, especially when they're actually doing better. Dallas Cowboys for football, when they suck, it's like but when they start to creep up, actually being above mediocre to being good, oh yeah, everybody's clicking in for that. The Yankees, when the Yankees are fire, people are clicking into that. People don't watch baseball unless the Yankees are like doing well. Like, the Yankees. Well, I can't stand the Yankees. All of a sudden, you hate the Yankees. You didn't even know how good they was doing until you heard it. That's just what it is. Some franchises are key pushers of said sport. So, I mean, that's a true statement.
I just don't understand why Charles acts like he's not part of this machine. Like, bruh, I've been watching NBA on Inside the NBA for years. TNT on Thursday night do not put certain teams on those games. Let's be real. We've always seen the Thursday night lineup most generally will be the best, most premier teams in the league, and they try to get them a premier matchups with the most talked about teams. It's not always you're not going to see the Detroit Pistons on TNT on Thursday night. They used to do segments on who he played for different. They didn't even, Charles don't even know who the players are on these various teams. And now he want to act like, he's this basketball savant who studies every roster and knows bruh, Kendrick, I had no problem with Kendrick said, because he was tongue-in-cheek. We know he was joking. If you watch the whole segment, he was just saying the Lakers are saving, because at the end of the day, before the Lakers went on this run, where was we at? The All-Star break. What was everybody complaining about? The dunk contest, the format of the All-Star game, how the NBA is dying. You had this hockey guy go on national TV and talk about how the league sucks and how the players don't want to play hard and nobody's watching the league. People was talking about how bad the ratings were. All of a sudden, Luka Doncic get traded to the Lakers. It's the biggest story. It took over the Super Bowl weekend. Nobody was even talking about this. I mean, people watch Super Bowl, but you know what I mean? It was one of the biggest stories all week. The Lakers go on this long tear. It rejuvenated the league. I don't think he lied. What was the lie about that, Calvin?
It wasn't a lie. I'm just saying there are other storylines.
Of course,
this year, but so I'm not saying he's lying, because, like I said, we all agree that when certain teams are better, certain leagues are better, and we agree that regardless of certain team status, you talk about them. When the Lakers were bad last year, and they were 7 AC. We talked about could they beat Denver. We talked about could they get into the playoffs versus the play-in. We had those same conversation 2 years ago when the same situation happened. We talked about them when they had success, when they didn't have success with Westbrook and Melo and those guys. So we'll always talk about those teams, and that's because those teams generate money, generate clicks, and generate likes for those leagues and for those networks. So he's not false in what he's saying. It's just Chuck takes it literally, and Chuck and he, like you said, he doesn't watch basketball as much as he should. For someone that's on a network that talks about basketball week in and week out, he doesn't watch enough basketball.
And my other thing is, and you all should understand this as content creators. If you are doing a podcast or doing any type of production, people mostly generally don't want to hear about stuff that they're not familiar with or that they don't know or have no attachment to.
That's why you will see them talk about the same things all day long
because they know what people want to hear. It's unfortunate. I mean, I like the variety. Of course, I'm more in-depth guy, so of course I can watch more in-depth analysis, and I look for stuff or other podcasts and things of that nature. But if you go into a mainstream, ESPN is mainstream. People want to hear about the Yankees. They want to hear about the Lakers. They want to hear about the Dallas Cowboys. We all know that. It is what it is. Stop acting like you just got into this game. And that's, like you say, it generates interest. And even on this show, when we talk about certain topics, that's what people get more excited about. It is what it is. I just don't like when people act like they don't know the score. You know the score. Don't act like you know what I mean, this is some new stuff or something like that. Like, hey, you in Baltimore, Maryland. If you don't talk about the Ravens and the Orioles, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like what are we doing here? Like, your audience. You feed the audience what they want to, not necessarily what they need all the time, but what they want. All right, let's get into this because we decided to do this exercise, and this has been a labor of what I call love. So, guys, if you've been unfamiliar, a couple weeks ago, the boardroom posted this original graphic. It's in the middle here, and it essentially has which era wins. And if you can see my era, you had Gen Z, millennials, and they put 5 players from each generation.
And the disrespect for Carmelo Anthony continues.
If this was Denver, Melo, it wouldn't be that type of disrespect.
Oh, God. I can fix that very quickly. I'm sorry, buddy. That was not intentional on my part because for some reason it's not showing up. Elsewhere.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, looks good on my screen, but sorry, Melo, but that is Carmelo Anthony there.
You're the only Nick up there. I know. I understand why you're frustrated.
yeah. But anyway, I'll explain the activity. What we're going to do is over the next several weeks, because this is not a one show thing. We're going to break down the top 15 players of each era, and we're going to put them in our order. So we're going to go through Gen Z. The generations of that means the year that the player was born in. So some players you're going to be looking like, hold up, why those players qualify for this era when they play also in this era? We look at when was their career, when was they born, and you try to map it. So anybody in Gen Z shouldn't be over 30. They should be, in your 20s. And that's what we're going to start with tonight. So it's going to be an interesting exercise. Calvin, did you take the time to put your list in order ahead of time, or are you going to be doing this on the fly tonight?
I had my top 5, so I'm going to have to do the other 10 on the fly.
All right. So again, this was original 5 put together, and then I took between myself, Calvin, and Justin, we talked about the silent era, and we'll get to that in a few weeks. We're going to save that for last, and then but I filled out 10 other players from these generations who I felt represent those eras pretty well, and then we'll rank them and how the rankings will work. Here's the criteria, fellas. Play on the court in historical importance. What did they mean? If you know how you do your Hall of Fame, what do they mean to the history of the league? What do they mean to the history of the game? When the story of basketball is told, where do they fall on that ranking at the end? Where will they fall when it's all said and done? So that will be part of it. Again, they want Melo covered up so bad. It's not gonna do just. I tried. It's just not working. Sorry, buddy.
Gen Z is going to be projecting a whole lot.
Well, listen, Gen Z is projecting. You know what I mean? And again, that's the fun of it. So we're going to start here with the pool of players. If you can see, let me pull them up so you can see who we're dealing with here. All right. So, Justin, when you were putting together your list, what were some of the criteria you were looking to kind of narrow things down to?
For Gen Z, we're doing Gen Z first, right?
Gen Z first.
It's just about like you said, it's current stature versus potential.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's get into this. So Calvin, you're number one on the list, as how we typically do.
We're going 15-1, right? We're going backwards.
Yep.
Okay.
So at number 15 on your list, and if you need a little help with the pool.
No, I got the pool.
Okay. All right. Who you got?
We start with Gen Z, right?
Gen Z.
Okay. I saw Tatum. I forgot which one he was in.
Yep.
Right now I got 15. I got Cade.
Cade Cunningham.
Just for what he's done, and he's starting to blossom. But I don't know if he'll be able to reach his full potential in Detroit, and I don't know what the future holds for him in as far as his next location. But he's starting to blossom into what we think is the next generation of great point guard play. So I'm gonna give him respect. But I just don't know if he's able to lead a team and lead that Detroit team yet. They've had a phenomenal season thus far, but to beat some of the players on his list, some of his peers, it's a tall task. I'm not sure if he's up for that yet.
Okay. Justin, who you got?
Oh, this is easy. 15, Zion Williamson.
Wow.
I gotta put some respect on Zion.
Wow.
You gotta play for me to do that.
Zion, big. Hey man, you've been playing good this year. I mean, here lately.
He's about
Shout
to get
out
hurt
to
again.
Zion. We say he about to get hurt again. Damn. They cursing you, Zion.
Respectfully.
That's disrespectful. Why you gonna have some respect for the kid?
I ain't gonna
Zion.
disrespect you like that, bruh. But honestly, I had to agree with Calvin. I'm looking at this list, just straightly off, like excellent season for Cade Cunningham, but I gotta put him right there. And if we're gonna go snake style, I'm going with Paolo. Great player, no doubt about that. But star power wise, he hasn't come into his own. I think that injury kind of stunned him a little bit. I want to see a little bit more from him, but I think if you give him another year, he's going to shoot up this list. Justin?
Next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hate to put him in, but no, I'm gonna keep him. Donovan Mitchell.
Do what?
You heard me.
Yo, you're disrespectful. That is disrespectful. And I'm pissed now. No, come on, man. You can't even be serious. You really serious?
There's gonna be scorers that's gonna be better than him. What you want me to say?
Look at his body of work already. What are you talking about?
Second round, maybe conference finals, maybe once.
We're
he went to the Western Conference Finals when he was in Utah. What are you talking about?
That's great.
We're talking about whole body of work. I don't see a lot of people.
Is that / potential?
Okay. I don't see a lot of people being better scored than him.
I'd rather go with the
number one seed in all basketball
than
right
seeing
now.
what I see right now.
Mm-hmm.
You are
a lot of people going to score 70. Ain't a lot of people going to score 70.
You're a hater. That's what you are. You're a New York. Go ahead,
get your words right.
Yo, you got me pissed off, man.
I got Zion next. All that stuff I was talking about, I completely agree.
What you mean?
All that stuff I agree. I just wasn't gonna put him 15. I had a little bit more respect for him.
Go ahead, Calvin. Who's your next
one? I got Brunson. I just think there are a lot of great players on this list. And I think Brunson is probably one of the oldest of these players. And we just talk about how next year's their year. I mean, everyone gets better, everyone gets more experience next year, and he gets older. So I'm just not sure how much more room he has with so much talent out there. He's probably one of the oldest on his list. And I just don't know if he still has time to add to his resume. In 4 years, will he play for Team USA, or will he be old? Will he be too old? Like, will he get a ring by then? It's just so many questions I just don't have. And I think we've already seen his peak we're not gonna make the argument that we haven't seen everyone else's peak yet. So I got Brunson.
What an excellent point, Calvin. I completely concur. What up, Justin? What you got next?
Jalen Brunson.
It
is what it is.
I'm stunned.
His window. He has a small window right now of greatness ahead of him, and hopefully he can extend it. I hope he extends, to be honest with you, but I think he got about 3 years compared to some of these other guys that got 10, 15 years ahead of him of greatness. I'm okay with that.
Wow. Man.
I'm a truth teller.
Ain't going to tell the truth. I mean, speak your mind.
Brees Hall 2,000 yards.
Again, because I don't know the injury, I can't count on you. I'm going Zion there. I just think his upside is so explosive, but like you say, I just can't. I can't bank on that right now. I can't. And then look. All of these guys are talented. Clearly, they're all talented, or they wouldn't be on this list. But I'll go here because at the end of the day, he's a great player. Playing down there, I don't know what with Wemby. Will he be allowed to be that guy? I don't know. So that's next for me. How about you, Justin?
Next is I'm going to go LaMelo Ball. I just think this is what you're going to see out of him moving forward. Great stat guy, but not going to contribute to winning too much, but highly entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Calvin?
I got Melo as well. I agree with everything Justin said. I'm starting to think he's more Bradley Beal, good stats, bad team guy. I don't know if he can put up similar stats on a team and contribute to winning. I think that he would have to sacrifice his scoring and be more of a facilitator, and I don't know if he wants to do that. He may get his chance if he gets traded, but I just don't know what he can do on a better team.
All right, who you got next?
I got Paolo. I wanted to get him high. I wanted to put him higher, and I think I should put him high because I think he could be the focus of Team USA going forward. But it's just so many great guards, and I think this is a guard league. I saw Paolo last year, lead his team to the playoffs. They lost in the first round in 7 games. But I think the East has gotten tougher. I think, this year they start off high, but he's faced some injuries. He probably should be higher, but it's a lot of talent on this list, and I got to put somebody next. I'm just not sure if he's going to be the leader that some of these other guys can. Will he have the resume of some of these other guys as well? So I got to put him where he is. Justin?
Devin Booker.
How about that? That's what I was going to put because I'm like, he's reached his play. He is what it is.
I got Booker a lot higher than y'all.
But he went to the finals, and I got to give him respect for that. He also a 70-point scorer as well in his own right in a losing effort. So this is Devin Booker's career. A Joe Johnson kind of a guy. So one of those guys that the generation that's fought that he's a part of. Hey, yo, remember that guy? Like that guy was bad. That's Devin Booker, but that's as far as he goes.
So so you think Devin Booker has a better career than Brunson? They the same age.
The fact that with the time that it's a lot of this is against Jalen Brunson for kind of having that late start a little bit. Dallas kind of didn't know what they had, but with that being said, like Devin Booker he has a finals appearance. I have to give him respect for that.
Okay,
it's as simple as that.
I guess I looked at my list a little bit different than y'all. If I'm representing, like you got a lot of this projecting, you can look at what they've done, but also how will they be remembered? And I just think Jalen Brunson playing in New York as a Knick, some of the performances, some of the heroics, he got
to get to a conference finals though, because they have.
And I think he has time to do it. Like you say, to me, Devin Booker, I've seen it. It's done. I've seen what I've seen. I don't think there's much more to it. I wouldn't put him above Brunson. And I never seen Booker be like Like even when they went to the finals, I thought that was Chris Paul's team. Like I didn't think Booker was the guy.
Yeah, he was definitely the one that was trying to stop. I'll say that. I'm not taking anything away from Chris Paul, but like I said, as a New York fan, it's just we just have a small sample size of JB because of his age. He literally just started to put on the last 3 years,
and I think they've been phenomenal.
They 100% have been. But if I compare that, let's say to LaMelo Ball, LaMelo Ball has another 10 years to play basketball.
That's why I still got him going on my list.
And his stats are going to be. He's going to have crazy stats.
Yeah,
it's that kind of a thing.
All right, and next for me, because again, I a lot of this projecting, but some of this stuff I just seen what I seen. Ain't too much more I can say. And no disrespect. Great player. Everybody, again, I feel like I gotta put that caveat, but I think I've seen enough to be like, okay, I don't know how much more you can give me for us to be the face of the league or star power. I'm going with right here. I just he don't have that it factor to me.
His resume gonna be stacked though.
Sure, but he's right in the middle of the road. He's not that guy that I feel like people going to look back at this era and say, yeah, JB was the face. You know what I mean? Like Jaylen Brown was the face of the league or close to it. Even some might argue, I'm clearly one of those people. He wasn't the best player on his own team. So I'm sorry, that's always going to hurt him in my book. I'm going with Jaylen Brown. Justin?
That's funny. I think for me, I will go with Jaylen Brown right here as well.
Wow.
Shout out to the fact that you went to the finals.
Calvin.
Shout out to the fact that you went to the finals. Shout out to your finals MVP and the Eastern Conference MVP.
All that's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Calvin?
I'm going a little different. I got Ja. I don't see injuries. I don't know if he's taking a step back, and I just think there's so many guards in the league that are on his level even better. And even this year with Memphis, they've won. They've been talented. They played well so far this year, and he's injured again. And I just don't. I don't know if what he went through a couple of years ago kind of took away some of his love for the game. In addition to the injuries, him saying I'm not going to dunk anymore. But I just don't see his career going in that same path I saw 2 years ago. And I don't even know if he's going to be in Memphis next year. So I don't even know how that plays a part in it. But I just don't know where he ends up. I don't see the All-NBA appearances, the All-Stars that I saw once. And I just don't know where he'll end up at this point in his career now.
Okay, valid. Your second pick?
I got De'Aaron Fox. I moved him up a little bit more because of Wemby. I think Wemby will help his career with rings, with all-star appearances, with maybe assist titles. But like I said, I just think it's better guards still available. There's Luka, there's Shea, there's Ant. I had Booker higher. So I just think there's so many guards that I don't see him surpassing any of them. So I think this is where he kind of slides in.
I just don't see the star power from him. Never have. Justin?
And because I couldn't decipher out the two, Jason Tatum right now. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's messed up.
Thank you.
That's messed up.
Thank you. Gotta separate. Gotta separate. I need y'all to separate.
Wow.
That sucks,
Gotta separate. All those stats. Stat them up.
He's gonna have a loaded resume.
Yep.
8 straight All-NBAs,
awesome.
First team All-NBAs.
Greatness.
3 rings.
Greatness.
2 gold medals.
He might not have 3 rings.
Yeah. I'm going with and again I was going back and forth, and Calvin, you kind of made the points I was going to make, and I'm going with Ja. And to me, it's something missing from his game. He still has the ability. Like you say, it might be the injury, the time off. Maybe he's lost some of that luster. Maybe just the team just not built the way to can really use his best skill sets. I don't know, but it's just not back yet. I think this can change, but for now, that's where I'm going. And then I'll go with I like LaMelo. I think he got a Q factor about him where the young kids, I deal with a lot of young kids, and they love that guy, man. He
If you
is.
gonna go young kids, Ja is that dude, though. Just based off your
They don't
argument.
talk about him like that, like LaMelo though. I'm telling you, LaMelo is got this.
I'm
think,
not knocking the LaMelo part. It's just
Mhm.
Ja right there with him.
I think Ja kind of hurt himself. He could have been that.
Okay, that's your opinion.
But again, that's why I'm going with LaMelo. You're next.
Me, right. What about this? Okay, bet. Now I go Ja.
Mm-hmm.
I go Ja right there.
So you did all that talking just to have him right there?
He's neck and neck, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't necessarily saying. I got LaMelo further down.
You got Ja over Tatum and Brown. Golly. I can see Brown because I got to move Brown.
One's gonna be a superstar. I cannot say that Jason Tatum is a superstar. I want to.
Sad. You're right.
But if can that this is a quick question. If Jaylen Brown wasn't on that team, is this still the same Boston Celtics?
No. Tatum is an X factor, man.
It's the hesitation for me. Is that's what solidified them.
I wouldn't even answer your question. I was getting ready to make a point. I'm harder on quote unquote superstars. I think that any of the three of us, and I consider Tatum
a star
after this year's superstar. And I'm harder than anyone the three of us that is on superstars. I think you have to prove it over 3 years. You've got to put out accolades. You've got to do it year after year after year. So I will consider him a superstar after this year, I think.
Okay. Understood.
All right. Who you got, Calvin?
I got Donovan. I got Donovan Mitchell. Like I said, it's just the talent is just so great at guard. I think this is his best chance at a ring. I have to see him take advantage of it. I don't know if he gets an opportunity this great again where he is in a position to be the best player on the team. And I think if he's one and done, then I think there are other players on this team that can do it year after year. I just think he's kind of hit his peak. And I think there are other players that when they hit their peak that will exceed him. So I just think he fits right here.
That JB is not ahead of Donovan Mitchell. When he beat him head to head without Luka, he beat him. He eliminated him in the playoffs. And he did it again. Did it twice.
You said without Luka.
Without Luka in Dallas. Dallas beat Utah. And then they go to the Eastern Conference. Knicks beat Cleveland. We did it.
So how are we comparing JB to this? I'm confused.
Jalen Brunson is the person that I'm talking about.
Oh, Brunson. I was talking about JB.
That's why I had to make sure whatever Donovan was, JB was going to at least be one ahead of him. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And who was your second pick, Calvin?
Now I got Jalen. I have Jalen next. I think like this is my media rant. Jaylen Brown, yeah. I think this is my media rant. I think they try to kind of tear down Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, putting them against each other. Who's better? Who's the leader of the team? And they kind of persevered and got past it. And now they're in a position where they're going to just continue to win and continue to make all NBAs. I just think there's a great talent discrepancy. I think Jaylen Brown does some things well, but he doesn't really do anything great. And I think he's just not exposed because of the talent that's around him. And I think there are more talented players, so this way fits in.
That's tough. All right, Justin, who you got?
Next, now we go. I'm gonna go Paolo right here.
You really high on him.
I just think that he's going to be one of the players to take Orlando to the next level. I just think that the injury that he had and trying to bounce back from that, and his whole team is hurt. But when he put up that 50-point performance early on in the year, I think he just definitely put, to me, I say he put the league on notice. It's just the fact that both Wanders was hurt and everything. Like Atlanta just doesn't have a great team, but they will. They showed it and then they brought it back. But I'm telling you,
Paolo over Donovan Mitchell right now, over Jalen Brunson right now.
You never said
Jason Tatum.
We are projecting as well.
That's a hell of a projection.
We are projecting as well.
I agree.
And if I have Paolo 1-on-1 against Jason Tatum, I am taking Paolo.
You got De'Aaron Fox over all of these guys. That's ridiculous.
Let's just
Yeah,
do your
all
list.
right.
Do your list.
All right, you're right. But Jesus, that's disrespectful. For me, here is where it gets difficult because I can project. I love these people.
You're
All of
gonna
them.
have to put Donovan Mitchell on that somewhere.
Hell no, not yet.
Jesus.
I think now I go with Jalen Brunson.
I respect that.
Wait, who still got Cade available? Okay, never mind.
That's what we dealing with. Look, great player. Had he beat Indiana that year, he'd be up even higher on my list. But again, I think like all of y'all points are valid about the age and the time he has to get it done. But again, players are playing longer. I think he'll be fine as long as Tom Thibodeau don't run him into the ground. Great player,
Which he is.
yeah, I know. But we'll see. And then here, look, I might be a little biased, but I don't care. This is where I go, Wemby. I think Wemby's a great player. I think he's going to be sensational. I think he's going to be great. I just don't know how great he'll be. So I'm going to slow it down a bit. Do I see him being Tim Duncan? I think people are putting a lot of pressure on this young man to be something. I think like injuries might catch up with him. I'm not projecting injury. I'm just telling you. If we're going to knock Zion Williamson down for all the potential we've seen him, I can pause on Wemby for now.
He had like 5 years of it though, but go ahead.
I'm pausing. I'm pausing on Wemby.
Understood.
And I want to let his game develop a little bit more.
Okay.
These other guys, I've seen more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm going. Justin?
Now I'm going to put Cade in right now. Simply being the fact that he's averaging 25, damn near 25 or 10 right now for a Detroit team that no one talks about. For the fact that he went through one of the worst seasons that Detroit can muster, and the fact that he persevered through that, and he's just looking forward towards the rest of the league. This is legitly not as great as LeBron James. I'm not calling him that, but when I say that, he's LeBron James-ish, he's built out that fabric that LeBron James is built out of. That's Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, he's already a first-time All-Star. He's going to be a world-renowned name for the next 5 to 10 years. I'm just trying to put it out there now. Cade Cunningham is the real deal because what he's able to do in Detroit.
Hey, man, all these are great players. Not like we saying none of nobody good, but
that was kind of based off of Calvin. Who got Cade Cunningham still up there? That was that.
It's a stretch. Calvin, you too.
So first I got Ant. I think at this point we're kind of picking from the cream of the crop. I think I expected more from him post Olympics. He just really hasn't taken that leap. Now, part of that, I believe, is the trade and trying to get Randall involved. But I do think we're all looking at a potential MVP top 5 finisher. Maybe he gets the ring, but he'll be exciting. He'll be flashy. He'll kind of be what we expect from Ja Morant in regards to the flashiness and just that bravado and just that going at people. And I think he'll also learn to be a better leader at times and lead his team to victories and to wins and potentially to even a ring. So I just think there are still better players out there, but I think top 5 isn't bad for him. And next I have Shea. I have Shea as MVP this year. I have him possibly going to the finals as well, so he can kind of knock 2 of those things off his list. He's grown into become a leader. He's going to be one of the best guards, if not the best guard in the league right now. So that just tells you how I have these other 3 guys ahead of him. But I think this is just we're starting to see. We're not even seeing the peak of Shea yet. They still acquiring talent. They're still trying to acclimate some of their newer pieces. So I just hold Shea in that high regard, and I think this is the year that we can start to see them kind of elevate, especially this Oklahoma City team, and kind of go, finals appearance, maybe even crack and win a ring. But I got Shea right here at my 4, I think.
Justin, who you got?
Now I'm going to put De'Aaron Fox right here. And the reason why I held off on him it's going to be because of my future pick, which is Wemby. But I noticed, Kevin, when you talked about De'Aaron Fox, you said, well, he's probably going to have assist titles and he's probably going to win championships. I'm like, that right there alone is to me enough to be better. Somebody from this crew is going to win multiple championships. Somebody is. Right, that's just the way the NBA works. Somebody's going to have multiple joints. I think De'Aaron Fox. I know Jason and Jalen already have.
I was going to say Jalen. They're the closest one right now to multiple titles.
But what I'm saying is, I think their window is short. When you talk about when you're projecting, as well as you have to project in these. When you talk about Generation Z, what he's going to be able to do with Wemby. If Wemby's healthy, right? That yes, I know he just took a major health hit, but besides that, he was pretty much healthy throughout his first two season and a half or so. So, if I'm projecting Wemby to be one of the best big men of all time, he defensively he already got that lock. Offensively, he's a one of a kind. Somebody's going to be his partner. Somebody's going to be his Tony Parker along this journey. Right, so we're going to put Tony Parker, one of the best point guards of the other generation. Well, guess what? Somebody's going to be tagging along Wemby through this process, and it's going to be De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox gets that spot.
Okay. For me, again, I am who I am, but I'm going Donovan Mitchell. I know I held him longer than other people, but I just have a high regard for him. I think he's a great player. I think the guy is big time, inside, outside, a leader. And I've loved him ever since he came into the league. And I think he's only getting better. And I think he has a star power to him that puts him at a different level. I think because he dunks when he finishes. I mean, his game is all around something that I think people can get behind. And I think he's going to make Cleveland something that people don't mind rooting for. And I like that. I like that. He's that guy for me. And number two, look, I could go multiple different ways with this, but just call it what it is. Jason Tatum, I know it's hard. People put their arms around him, but he's a solid star. It's not like he's,
you just said a solid star is reserved in the top 5 for you.
No, but his game sets him to superstar status. And I just think he deserves his recognition, man. The guy's a winner, man. And he carries himself like a champion. I like to reward that type of behavior. That's why my guys at the top are going to be those type of players. So I got Jason Tatum. Go ahead, Justin.
Next, I'm going Anthony Edwards. The superstar. All those great things. Like, it's not too much to say about Anthony Edwards that we all don't already know.
Agreed. Calvin.
So I just made an executive change. I'm gonna go Wemby here at 3. I want
you make an executive change that we didn't know that you changed anything.
I'm telling you, I made an executive change.
Okay.
I just thought. I mean, this is only year 2 for Wemby and it was cut short, but I guess I expected more thus far. I guess that's how high I held him to those standards.
Offensively,
it just hasn't been what I expected, and I wonder will it ever get there, especially depending on what move they make this summer, depending on if he comes back healthy or not. So I've had to temper my expectations a little bit. I thought he would just run this league, he would dominate this league, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP rings, just putting up numbers and stats. And now I don't know what to expect, and I have to temper those expectations. So I'm gonna hold him down just a tad bit. 2. I'm going Luka. I'm going Luka at 2. Luka has a chance with the Lakers, I think, to exceed what he was going to do with Dallas because of the Laker brand and because of the potential to get players, the potential to be the face of the league in LA. I expect great things, but you have to play hard and be in shape to start. And the older you get, the harder it's going to be to get in shape and to stay in shape. So being with LeBron, hopefully those things can just rub off on him. He can get in shape and stay in shape and start this season in shape, and we can get the kind of season that we expect from Luka from the start. But the nagging injuries, the muscle pulls, those things, they're harder to prevent when you get older. And I think it'll get to a point where his prime is short because he's had these nagging injuries early on where he should be dominating the league right now, and that'll cut down some of his accolades. That already has. He only has one finals appearance. Now, granted, he didn't really have the talent to get there, and he has the numbers now, but I just think there's one player who's going to outrank him in every statistical category at the end. So I got Luka at 2.
Justin?
Where we at again? How many more?
This should be
You got 2 more.
2 more. No, he got 3 more. He's gonna come back around. He's gonna come back around and do his last one.
Okay, so we got Shea, Luka, and Wemby. This is tough, and we just putting it out there. I know we're doing that.
I actually thought we all had the same top 3, but that's not gonna happen.
Oh no, you's out there, buddy. Go ahead.
I might have to go with Shea right now. Yeah. Let's go, Shea.
Okay.
Can you flip him on the other?
Shit,
I was gonna. You're gonna have people question you real hard.
No, we know the greatness of Shea is. I want to see more playoff grit from him, and I the person that I have left, clearly I still have Wemby left, and we don't see how he is in the playoffs, so it's very hard. So I know I'm sounding a bit I'm contradicting myself, but at the same time, I just think the next guy is just better.
Okay.
I'm pulling here, but yeah.
I get you. For me, and again, this was you splitting hairs at this point. I think all of these guys are worthy of this spot, but the reason why I go with Shea here is the Q factor. He's a phenomenal scorer, phenomenal basketball player. His defense is improved, gets his hands on loose balls, all that good stuff. But just I've like no interviews, no. Like you don't see him doing nothing in the media. He's that superstar it factor. He doesn't connect the same way some of these other players will. And I think that matters if you're going to be a face of the league. And to represent Gen Z, the entire era, you have to be something that people can put their arms around. And I don't think he's there yet. I don't know, what it'll take to get there, but he's just not there yet for me. So again, great player on the court, and we've seen great players on the court that didn't translate to the superstardom. And number 2 on my list for sure is Anthony Edwards. To me, the guy should have been number 1, but he has kind of hurt his own ability to be number 1. I think he's funny. I think he's intentional with his comments. But sometimes he goes,
especially about fatherhood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's going to stop him from being the best he could be. You got people, mothers telling their sons they can't get his shoes and stuff like that. But his play on the court, offensively, defensively, I think the guy can be the next guy. I really do. But I just got Luka in front of him, so I know it's not my turn, but clearly that's who I got number 1. Justin, who you got?
Luka is number 2 for me.
Okay.
34.99 as Fat Luka. That's all I need.
Calvin, who's your final 2?
My final 1.
No, you got 2.
Somebody don't have Devin Booker yet.
It's Calvin.
No, I've been at Booker.
When did you have him?
I said Booker a while ago. I said Booker after Donovan.
Yo, you never said it. That's why you never said it.
No, it was supposed
you never said it.
I thought I said after Donovan.
I was like, dang, you really high on Devin Booker, boy.
No, I thought I had after Donovan.
No, you put Jalen Brown there.
I had on my list. I got Donovan, Booker, Jalen.
Okay.
Well, you ain't say it. So who's your number 1?
Yeah, sure, he said.
Oh, my bad. My 1 is Tatum. I just expect, like, look, we talk about the superstar conversation. He's 4-time All-NBA. He's, I think, 5 or 6-time All-Star, and he's just 27. And I expect, and it hasn't happened yet, but I'm expecting this snub with the gold medal, this snub at the Olympic Games to kind of propel him forward and to be the best forward in the league. And I think when you're the best forward in the league, you're on a premier team like the Boston Celtics, you have the ability to win a ring every year because you have this great team. Then he has the ability to be the best player in Gen Z. Because he is a year or two older than Luka. I'm sorry, younger than Luka. His resume is already better. So Luka's playing catch up at this point. Anthony Edwards is playing catch up. It'll be a point where he's perceived as, or he is the best player on his team, maybe even the best player in the NBA. He should have an MVP or two. He just has to get that killer instinct, and I think being snubbed will start that train and will get that train rolling to him being the best, undisputed best player in the league in a couple years, and that's where we end up.
My turn.
Yeah,
man, these guys are. Jason Tatum is one trade away from not being that guy no more. But of course, it's Wemby. When you talking about projecting a career, the defensive player of the years are going to be. Oh, he'll probably be number one ever for that. So that's already one side of the floor that he's already taken care of. That's booking. The other end is just him playing 25, 10, and 5. If he can get 25, 10, and 5 or something along those lines to go with the defensive numbers that he's going to have, and to have De'Aaron Fox as his running mate, yeah, I think the future's extremely bright. Injuries aside, I can't say that because it's too early. Like I said, versus Zion, when I got multiple years of it already. This is a guy. He can come back. Brandon Ingram came back from a very similar injury that he's having right now with the blood issue. So, I just think the league is going to be Wemby's.
Look, I love Wemby, and again, I'm a Spurs guy. I'm never going to jinx my team. I want to slow the brakes down there because offensively, I don't know. But number one for me is Luka Doncic. I think he has it everything. He's the play on the court, the it factor. He's a star of power. He's playing for the biggest team in the biggest market, the number one team in basketball historically, the Los Angeles Lakers. There's a legacy there. I think the team is always going to be trying to put pieces around him to make the team better, which is always going to be a benefit to him. I just think his situation, where he plays, who he is already, what he's already done in this league, far as scoring. He's already the all-time second leading scorer in the playoffs behind Michael Jordan. Like, it's crazy some of the numbers he has already and some of the things we've seen him do. I just think if we're going to say who represents Gen Z 5-10 years from now, I think he's going to be up there. And that's Luka's number one. So right now, if we just do our 5, Calvin, you have
5? No, we don't.
No.
We got 4 the same 5.
Justin has De'Aaron Fox in his 5, which is interesting. Okay.
You got Donovan, and I got
a mixture.
I got Tatum. I got Tatum. That's what it is. Okay.
Tatum in my 5.
No.
Justin got him at like 10. That's wild, man. You're a disrespectful guy. You know why? You're a Knick fan. That's why. You're a Knick fan. So anyway,
some of these guys should have won at college.
So next week, we will go through the millennials list. Here we go again. Millennials list. And
the millennials list is in the Manila folder.
Include Dame, Russell Westbrook.
I got a red flag. I got to throw a flag on the play.
Dwayne Wade, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, some guy with an orange headband. What is that? Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving.
Was that your red flag?
Davis. So
no, not even that.
So we will get to this next week. Justin,
we got to edit somehow, some way. I don't at this point. If it's Melo, it is what it is. But Dwight Howard has to be on this list. So we can talk about that all off script. But
so will you like to take Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid off?
To me personally, I'll go AD. But that's me. Dwight Howard has to be on this list. He was just the best center for like 5 or 6 years.
He was. How about Dame?
I'm okay with that. To me, he just got to get on there.
What's your thoughts, Calvin?
I mean, I'm trying to think through it, but I mean, if you add Dwight, he will be the only person outside of Embiid who won't be on top 75 lists all time.
And that was a debate.
That was an itchy.
Yeah, Dwight Howard should have been on that 75 list.
I agree.
Well,
I mean, we didn't put Clay on there either. Technically,
I hear Clay,
the third best shooter all time.
That's well and good, but Dwight is Dwight. We gotta give some respect to Dwight. Just add him and see where we have him at.
You know, I don't know, because here's how I look at that.
He beat LeBron.
How people's career ends matters too, though. Like, if anything, you might could make an argument. When did Dwight come in?
04. Right after LeBron. That's why I said when I saw LeBron, Melo, and D Wade, I'm like, well, shit. He was right there the next year.
I mean, I think you can make the argument.
When did he stop being the leader of his team? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I'd say at the end of that I would say Orlando. I wouldn't even said. I'd have said 2 years.
He was a role player in Houston. He was a role player in LA. He was a
I think Melo's prime was longer. It just wasn't as
that guy.
He didn't have the same team success.
But he had a long stretch in Denver. He had a long stretch in New York. As the guy. So at least that's 2 destinations. Dame was the guy in Portland. I mean, years.
You might can do Dwight. I'm sorry. You might could do AD.
AD was Finals MVP essentially. I mean, come on.
No, it was LeBron.
But AD was the. But I mean, everybody know that
AD has made it out the first round twice.
AD was the stat king for years before he was able to.
He made it out the first round twice.
Dwight was everything for Orlando.
One could argue.
I'm listening.
One could argue.
Okay.
I think I can see the AD point, because I mean I'm almost lumping AD in with millennials. He's too old.
Well, here's my question: how about we put all of them on there, and then when we
that's why I said just add them and then see
when we do our rankings, let's see who you got last. Who you got last?
Somebody be off that list. I actually like that. It's a nice little.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I probably don't have either of those 3 last.
Dwight or none of them?
Dwight, AD, or Melo. I probably don't none of them last.
So somebody gonna end up being last. Somebody gonna end up being not on this list. And that's entertaining.
I probably have Dame last. The only reason I'm thinking because he's probably a top 6 shooter all time. I'm thinking Dame gonna be last at least until I think about it and then look at some numbers.
Shit. Chris Paul might be in there somewhere.
Somebody might say Joel Embiid.
I'm about to say Joel.
I forgot about that.
Y'all were debating about putting Joel in Gen Z.
He probably should have been with Gen Z. He probably should have been.
But he's 30 years old.
He under 30. I thought he was under 30.
He's 30.
30.
I thought Embiid was under 30.
Man, that
he's 30.
Trust the process was a long time ago, buddy.
Him and Jokic are both 30.
Yep.
That's why I had issues with Jalen Brunson but he's 29, right? So he's
28. He's 28.
He's 30.
No. I'm talking about Jaylen Brown.
No.
I'm sorry.
Brunson.
Brunson is 28. That's what I meant to say.
Brunson's 29.
He just turned
28. He's 28. He's about to turn 29. So
he turned 29 in August.
Yeah, I was going to say because him and Mitchell the same age. I think Mitchell was like November or something like that.
But yeah, Joel Embiid is.
But that's why I didn't understand why y'all put him so low on y'all list. Like he older something. He's 28.
He's older than most people on that list.
So what I said was he had a slower start.
Okay.
Right, JB just got the JB.
I agree with that.
And I think because of
that might be a good thing
and stuff like that, he's not going to have.
He's
not going to have the Chris Paul type of a career. to me.
We'll see. We'll see. Again,
That's it.
we all can project.
I mean, we
can
just
all project.
we just project.
But with the millennials, we know what it is. The body of work is there.
It's done. Except
that's
for
what I'm
LeBron.
saying.
Yeah. Everything else is done. It's no more projecting at this point.
And all that. But it's
there's no more projecting at that point.
Yeah. All right. We'll discuss that next week. We thank you all for tuning in tonight. Very fun show. We talked about a lot, so much so that I didn't even get through all the wrestling stuff. So we'll hold that off for next week. But it's 11:35 at night. We've been on here for 2.5 hours, so we appreciate you tuning in tonight. And we'll see you next week right here for Calvin, Justin. I'm Larry. We'll see you next week for another edition. Get off the damn fence. Holla.